6:32. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mashpee Conservation Commission meeting for Thursday, August 7th, 2025. We're meeting in the Wacoit Meeting Room, Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North. Broadcast live on local cable channels 8 and 1072. We also stream live on the Town of Mashpee website for a hybrid remote meeting. So first I'd like to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Okay. Next item is just a quick moment of silence. Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll skip over, oh, wait a minute, before I do that, is there any public comment not related to any hearings tonight in front of the commission on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll go over the pre and post hearing agenda after the hearings. The first hearing is an RDA for 29 Timberlane Drive, Maureen Santos. Proposed maintenance of existing pier, ramp, and float. Representative Self, and do we have Maureen Santos or her agent? Okay, please come up to the table. All right. Yeah, you take a seat and please state your name and describe your project.
My name is Maureen Santos, and I have a dock. It was there when I moved, when I bought the property in, I guess, '96. And I've wanted to get it registered, and for a variety of reasons, it hadn't happened yet. And so I'm finally here. I finally got everything collected that needed to be done. So really, I just want to get it registered.
Okay, so just trying to get it on record.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any comments from commissioners on this project? You see photos
Sure.
up above.
I had a question about that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find, we have a lot going on tonight. I'm trying to find my notes on this one, but just a question actually for the staff and the commissioners with regards to permitting the dock. So is this in lieu of a Chapter 91 license, or is this in addition to?
This would be in, oh,
Yeah, this is they have to go, in order to get a Chapter 91 license, whether it's a new dock or someone's trying to get an existing grandfather dock on the record, they have to get a local permit first before they can start the Chapter 91 process. So that's why this applicant is here, to get the local approval first, because you can't start Chapter 91 without local approval.
I see, and the approval is just that we're acknowledging the dock exists, or do you have any maintenance planned for it? Or are you going to rebuild it?
Eventually, it will need maintenance, but I
Okay.
don't have anything planned.
Okay, and that would come in as a notice of intent, correct? Any planned
Thinking
maintenance?
that would be a whole different.
Correct,
yeah.
okay.
Just to clarify, under Chapter 91, license holders do have the right to maintain their docks as long as it's above water. So things like railings and planks, those are allowed to be maintained in perpetuity. They don't need to come in for a permit for that.
Okay, but, so replanking or, taking it out, anything like that?
Above water,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, those are my only questions. Thank you.
Paul?
No questions.
Okay, Rich? Shauna? Sandy? Good. Any other comments, Dan, on this one?
no, this is pretty straightforward. They're just getting it on the record for the Chapter 91 and going from there. So no work being done.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, do we have a motion for this RDA?
Make a motion to close an issue at 29 Timberlane Drive?
No, be,
It's an RDA.
it'd be negative
Oh,
determination.
I'm sorry, make a negative determination for 29 Timberlane Drive.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Sandy. Okay, with the motion second, we'll do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
We didn't have any discussion on the motion.
Okay.
One of the things that I wanted to point out under discussion in the motion would be that in approving this as a negative determination, we are only determining that 131, Section 40 does not apply to the present dock. So that if something were to come along later, this RDA is not like in perpetuity. This, something would have to come before this commission in order for the applicant to do any kind of substantial work. I know Drew mentioned anything that's out of the water is workable, but I still have some concerns about that if it were going to infringe in the inland bank or any of the buffer zones. So I don't want to see the commission give up its regulatory authority by granting a negative determination just carte blanche. I think it should be specifically stated that it's to recognize that the dock is there so that the applicant can proceed with the Chapter 91 licensing. So that would be my suggestion for a condition, perhaps, on the RDA. I don't know.
Or amend the motion to state that?
I would be willing to amend the motion to state that it is for recognition of the existing dock and not to be interpreted as a sign-off of Concom on their applicability of the Wetlands Protection Act regarding the dock.
Okay. All right, so you make an amended motion
Yes.
based on that wording,
Yep.
specific wording. Okay, great. Do we have a second on that amended motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second amended motion. All right. So now we vote on the amended motion and then vote on the negative determination.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion warranted?
Yeah, actually, I have a question. So does, what staff had mentioned, does it still allow her to do maintenance on the dock with this amending?
If it,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so they can maintain, I mean, typically, we require notice of any maintenance activities that wouldn't trigger a permitting process. So for instance, replacement of planking or railings, anything above water. But, so yeah, they would be able to maintain, that is a right under Chapter 91, that's a state right. I understand where Paul's coming from, but the commission doesn't lose jurisdiction because of a negative determination. So the jurisdiction still holds, but if you want to make that part of the motion, that's fine.
I also see a recommendation here on the agent's notes that we want to ensure that the Chapter 91 license has to be applied for if the RDA is granted. So I don't know if we want to add that to the language of the negative determination, or if that would be standard language that would already be included. Maybe Dan or Drew, you can speak to that.
Yeah, we can make it a condition and we'll inform, well, the applicant is here, so they know.
Okay.
But, so it's not just apply for, but we have to receive a recorded copy once it's issued.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to add that to the amended motion, too, so it's covered?
yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So the amended motion is just a recognition of the grandfather seasonal dock based on your wording, and then we add in that the applicant must apply for a Chapter 91 license, and proof must be provided to the agent. So that would be the amended motion.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, so, so you made the amended motion. We have a second with the new wording?
Second.
Second, okay. All right, any more discussion? Okay. Thank you, Paul, for that. Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, so that's on the amended motion.
You are all set.
Oh, thank you.
So we have to vote on the
That's the
negative
amendment.
determination.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was on the amended motion. You're correct. Nope, I was ahead of myself on that one.
All right, so now there was a motion and a second made it for negative determination on this RDA. So any more discussion on that? Okay, great. Seeing none, do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, now you're all set.
Now you're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You'll expect it in the mail within 21 days.
Excuse me?
You'll get the RDA determination within 21 days in the mail.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay. There you go for that one. Okay. Next hearing is an RDA for 9 Tuspequin Road, Mario and Gina Recuperio.
Thank you.
Proposed installation of sunroom over existing deck. Representatives Mike Canada.
Good day. How are you guys?
Good evening.
Out of here representing 9 Tuspequin. So again, a pretty straightforward situation. You got a cottage from the 60s that's been existing on a pre-existing non-conforming lot. And the homeowner would like to build a sunroom in the exact same footprint as you see that sun deck. The sunroom would be sitting on concrete footings, no foundation, and it would be sitting in the exact same footprint that the deck is in. There is no proposed vegetation removal of any kind. So it's just removing that deck that you see and putting a sunroom in its place. And that deck sits on footings, so we'd be removing the footings that are there and that deck, putting in new footings. All the work would be done by hand with the exception of the digging for the footings, which are required to be big feet by code. So we have to dig a very large hole. So we're going to bring in a very small mini excavator that we would literally drive right down the paver driveway, walkway. So that would be tracked on that, and the dirt that comes out of those holes will be taken out and hauled away, and we would be putting concrete in its place, and from there, everything's built by hand, so there's no machinery on site. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. It's no change into the existing footprint, no change in the lot coverage. It's actually, the lot coverage actually gets smaller because that piece of the deck that's in the front's getting removed. So the encroachment to the lakefront is actually lesser when we're done than exists now by a little bit. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, go to commissioners. Sarah, any questions?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Good evening.
How are you, ma'am?
Fine, how are you?
Very well.
Good. I had an opportunity to visit the property for a house built in the 60s. It's beautiful.
It's nice.
It's been very well
Yeah,
kept.
The homeowners have taken very good care of it. It's definitely
That's clear.
a nice piece of property. The setting's beautiful.
It was
Views are stunning.
beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. I would just say that in terms of a request for determination of applicability, I would have some concerns, seeing as how the proposed work is within the 75-foot buffer to the inland bank, and we're introducing a roof which introduces impervious surfaces, which does change how water moves through, and in addition, it changes, some of the calculations for nitrogen, things that we're very concerned about, especially right here on the water. So I would like to see this come in as a full notice of intent. But those would be my concerns. I think in reading through the Mass General Law 310 CMR with regards to RDAs, we're talking about minor projects, and this is adding a whole new room to the house. So it would be my opinion that this would not apply here.
The roof water can be contained in dry wells, which is pretty common when we do any work around the lakes. We always put everything into dry wells.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
and it's natural rainwater, it's not sewerage, so.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
so I'm not sure how it would add to any nitrogen loading. But
It's just part of the calculations here and some of the things that we take into account, the percentage of impervious surface on the lot. And, I do also see in our regulations that, conditioning RDAs is just not something that is recommended for us to do. So if we're adding dry wells and we're putting a room on again, it would either, I would like to see it as an NOI, but certainly if we're proposing dry wells, that would be another RDA with all of that listed. So.
Well,
that
I'm
would
just
be-
saying we
those
could
would be
do
my
that.
thoughts for today.
We can do that with the gutters if that's your concern.
Sure.
Is the rainwater the concern, that's how I would address it.
Sure, sure. Well, just the impervious surface, I think, is the concern, right? That close to the water. These are impaired waterways. We have to exercise due diligence with,
Saying the impervious surface is the roof
yes,
versus the grade?
the deck, yeah. Absolutely, yep. But those are my comments and questions, so I'm happy to defer to another commissioner.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Paul?
Yeah, the proposed paver patio, that's something that is not there?
No, it's already there. Yeah.
Maybe I was misunderstanding the shaded area. I didn't quite, so that's it there on the right-hand
Yeah,
side?
you can see the little bit of pavers on the
Okay.
right. Yeah, he's just got a little, where he puts his grill and stuff
Okay.
goes on that little section.
All right, so I thought that was in addition to,
I'm not adding.
Construction. No.
No, I'm
Okay.
not adding anything.
Is that a leftover note from the previous plan?
Is what?
Is that a leftover note from that plan from before?
Is what a
'Cause it says
leftover note?
proposed paver patio right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that must be, yes. Yep, that's a leftover note.
that's what
Yeah,
caught my eye.
that, we're not doing that.
No. And,
Just doing the addition, that's it. with
and on the existing deck that you'll be taking out of there, what support structures involved with that?
That deck is just typical pressure-treated 2x8 framing, which would be cut up and removed.
Yep,
And it's sitting on concrete footings that'll be just plucked out of the ground and put in a truck and taken away.
okay. And then you excavate out for your,
Yeah, so we would just dig, we're not digging a whole foundation, we're just digging potholes where the footing goes, straight down, just a tube. A tube with
how many of those?
there'll probably be about 8,
8?
yeah,
Okay,
all in.
thank you. No other questions, Steve?
Okay, thanks, Paul. Rich?
Nope.
Shauna?
No.
Sandy? All right. Can you go back to that photo? All right, so the deck with the railings, that's the deck coming off.
It's
Right.
all coming off to the house.
Okay, so that lower deck with that.
That lower deck's just getting eliminated.
Okay, what's
correct.
going into place there?
It's just gonna be grass.
Grass,
Yep,
okay,
Yep.
all right.
That's what I'm saying, the actual structure is getting pushed back from the encroachment to the waterfront.
Okay, so you're taking out
We're
structure?
taking out that piece, yep.
Yeah, so that's
The
what?
new room would sit in the footprint of where you see the white railings on the deck.
Okay,
That's where the new room is. So there'll just be, where you see those 2 chairs under the covers, there'll just be a set of stairs there to go up, to get out.
okay, so you're taking out roughly how many square footage by removing that deck?
Oh, that's probably 100 square feet, maybe, 10
Okay.
by 10, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Dan or Drew, any comments from you guys?
Yeah, just to explain why we recommend an RDA for this, because there's no expansion footprint beyond what's existing. So you've got a deck being swapped out with 3-season sunroom. So, when it comes to minor or major projects, we would consider this minor because there's no expansion, there's no encroachment towards the resource area. I do understand about the roof drainage, but that's a very common, as Mr. Canada just detailed, easily dealt with issue to capture stormwater runoff. If the commission is comfortable with conditioning that in an RDA, I know it's not a habit you like to get into, but this is pretty straightforward. And again, no expansion, so that's why we considered it minor. Everything is happening within previously developed footprint.
Okay, thanks, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Yeah.
Dan, anything?
So I did a site visit today, and this is, as Drew says, pretty straightforward. You're gonna be removing, decreasing footprint for me is very big. So that's always a bonus, especially what's on the water side, quite honestly. The only comment I have has nothing to do with the construction. The only comment I have is please inform the homeowner of their property lines. The beach is owned by the state. It is not privately owned by anyone. So I went there today and residents came out and informed me that it's not, I don't know which homeowners, so I'm just doing a blanket to everyone.
Okay.
They didn't want to say, but they were getting kicked off the beach by people and getting accosted very heavily. So the beach is public. It is owned by the state. The docks itself are allowed to be permitted the way they are, passing through the beach. There's some
Are you
pathways
saying the
for that.
beach in front of his house?
Yes, so his property line ends right there.
And left and right of it as well?
Yep, that whole Secana Drive, well, not whole Secana Drive, that section is Secana Drive. It goes up a little bit more.
Right.
And then once you get past that, there's a section of Secana Drive that is owned to the water by the multiple residents. And then once you get past that, you're back to a paved section that's owned by the state again.
Gotcha.
So I just want to make sure that's known because this is not unique to the entire road. I will say that. So just keep that.
Yeah, I'm
just
actually
please
quite
inform
familiar with that, because Secana Road used to run the whole.
The whole
perimeter.
length,
It used
and
to
now-
run the whole
yeah.
lake in the 50s, I think.
Yes, yes, and now it does not. So I just want to make sure people know that it is owned by the state.
Yep.
And therefore, no posting or anything. The docks are fine. They're permitted. But no, when it comes, as I say, when it comes to reduction in footprint and taking stuff away from the water, that is a good thing for me.
Okay.
The only thing I would say is if there is any alternatives, if there's any deviations or issues that occur while digging the sonotubes, if the project is approved tonight, you need to contact the Conservation Department right away, just so we can assess it.
Okay.
And that's all.
Very well.
Thanks, Dan. All right, do we have a motion on this RDA?
Make a motion for a negative determination at 9 Tupsaquin with the condition of dry wells. I don't know how many would you prefer, is there a staff?
Probably two, one on each side?
Yeah, there's only gonna be 2 downspouts. It's a very small room,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So we have a motion for a negative determination. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. With motion and second made, do we have any discussion on this motion?
Yes. I noticed on the application that the applicant refers to 310 CMR 10.022 as a reason to be exempt. And if you look at 310 CMR 10.022B, there are several minor activities that are listed in that regulation. This is a state regulation, not a local bylaw. And if you go down to 2B2, I know it sounds like a little bit of alphabet soup, all of the minor activities that the state requires are listed A through H, and none of those activities match what is being proposed. This is actually a construction of a structure, and that, in terms of a minor activity, is not what the state calls minor. We could call it minor, and then a commissioner could be satisfied that there was no adverse effect to the resource area, but that would be on a commissioner-by-commissioner basis. Personally, I am not able to support this negative request. I don't consider the project minor, and I don't feel as though there isn't a potential adverse effect to the resource area because of some of the things that Commissioner Thornbaugh mentioned in our deliberations and discussions. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Okay. So, any more discussion from other commissioners on what Paul just mentioned? Do other commissioners agree with that and think we should request a NOI on this if it doesn't meet the requirements of 310 CMR 10.02 2B2?
The vote may carry. I mean, the motion is for a
Right.
negative determination. So if we're done deliberating, you could call for the vote, see if it carries. If it carries, great. If it doesn't, then the option would be to go to the positive determination.
Yeah,
And then the NOI would follow.
okay. All right, thank you, Paul. Okay, so we have a motion and second for a negative determination. Any more discussion? No, man. Okay, we'll do roll call vote. Sarah?
No.
Okay, Paul?
No.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
No, based on what I just learned from Paul about the state regulations.
Okay, okay. And I vote yes on it, so the vote fails 3-2 for a negative determination.
with the expectation that the applicant brings an NOI back.
So now we have to,
It has to be,
now we have to,
has to be voted on.
yeah, so now we have to vote
Okay.
to determine if it be a positive determination, recommend an NOI.
And I would make the motion for a positive determination of applicability on the project.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded for positive determination and a request for notice of intent filing for this project. Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
No.
Sandy?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote no. So a positive determination passes.
Correct.
And notice of intent filing will be required for this project.
Okay, what Drew said about the applicability with the footprint doesn't work.
Not for this
That-
commission.
What's that?
Not for this commission, at this time, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate
All
your
right.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
3-2, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next RDA, 67 Whippoorwill Circle, David Carr. Proposed septic system upgrade to Title V IA system. Representatives Engineering Works, Inc.
They should be online.
Online, okay.
Yep. She is, I believe, online. Anna, are you here for 67 Whippoorwill Circle? You are muted right now if you are.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I thought I unmuted myself. Hello.
Hello.
I am a representative of Engineering Works, and yes, so for 67 Whippoorwill, we are upgrading the septic system, replacing the tank and the SAS area. There will be a sledgehammer
Thank you.
treatment system installed in the septic tank that was passed by the Board of Health last night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
The property is not in a wetland buffer zone, but it is in the 100-year flood zone.
Okay.
And
Anything else to add, Anna? That's it?
there's going to be minimal disturbance to any vegetation, and it will, anything that is disturbed will be replaced with lawn.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, go to commissioners. Questions, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. I'm not used to being asked to ask questions first. Hi, Anna. I had a question on what I'm seeing here on the plan map. It looks like we're requesting a variance. I imagine this is from the Board of Health for a 1-foot reduction to the required separation between the groundwater and the SAS system. Could you tell me a little bit about that, please?
Yes, so in order to prevent having to do a mounted system, we're just requesting that one foot. We had some higher groundwater there. It was passed by the Board of Health. Didn't seem to be a concern with them. I wasn't at the meeting. Peter was there last night. He's just unavailable tonight.
Sure. Okay, and just to confirm, the current system is failed, correct? It's not,
Yeah.
okay. And what is the capacity for the system? Again, I'm sorry if it's in here and I've just missed it. Is this it looks like a 4-bedroom house?
Yeah, it's a 4-bedroom house, so the capacity is,
Okay.
is at least 440 gallons. We have 444 gallons per day as the capacity.
Okay. And then in terms of the lawn, if we're, replacing the disturbed area with lawn, are we in any danger of exceeding kind of the lawn requirements, or would there be other vegetation that would be, that the applicant would be open to?
I'm unsure of that. I know that the only plants that would be removed would be a holly and looks like a few small caliber trees, but I'm not seeing them on the plan here either. Might be, right between the existing and the new septic system.
Sure, okay. Okay, those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Paul?
Yeah, hold on just one second.
Okay.
This is old 25, not new 25? Okay.
Correct.
I-
Yeah.
Yes.
So with the
Every-
two of- the
I
two
think
of
they're
the wells
all-
and-
Yeah, every single one
Yeah.
for
Just want to
tonight.
make sure I.
For tonight and tonight only, every hearing has the grace period. So they're all
Okay, on this, okay, thank you. Sure.
So I was just pulling up the assessor's guide. This is a 4-bedroom home existing, and you're requesting a 4-bedroom replacement system, correct?
Yes.
So no increase in flow whatsoever.
Yeah, if you see on the design criteria, it would say if it was assessed as a smaller house. Usually if we're trying to add, it would say the number of bedrooms existing, and then in parentheses, we would be adding any more.
Right. Do we have the nitrogen calculations for this?
Trying to remember if I
They
saw him
they
here.
did come in electronically. I think it's at 13.365
That's what I thought.
proposed.
What about the tank itself? What's the discharge out of the tank?
I've got them pulled up right here.
The gallons per day is 444. I
How
don't
about
have
the nitrogen loading? Is that what you?
I don't have the nitrogen loading criteria in the plan that I have tonight.
You can go on, Dan, or
Okay.
Steve, to somebody else. I just want to do a quick calculation.
Okay,
Back
sure.
to me.
Okay. Rich, any questions? Shauna?
No.
Sandy?
No.
Okay. And I had a couple of questions. When I was on site, I noticed a couple of large pine trees in the back left corner of the property near the SAS. So I'm assuming with those
Existing or
Ex-
proposed?
existing, of the proposed SAS, I should say.
Okay.
So that in the back left corner of the property. So I'm looking at the size of the new SAS and the distances and where the trees are. I'm thinking those trees will probably need to be taken out because of the root structure. Are you planning to take them out, or will they be taken out during construction?
That wasn't the plan. Just trying to look at the grading right now to see if they're planning on cutting or adding grade there. It looks like they're going to be adding grade, so they might be able to keep the trees in there. But the only removal that I was told about were just those 2 trees between the existing and the proposed septic system, and there was a holly somewhere, but it's not called out as a holly on the plan.
Yeah, these are large pines in the back corner.
Yeah.
Okay, they should be fine. They weren't listed as any of the trees that would have to be taken down.
Okay. Yeah, I would feel better if any trees to be removed, that we put a condition that they contact the agent and put in, evergreen to replace whatever trees are removed.
So replacing any
Just
of
to
those.
cover ourselves.
Yeah, I would recommend, if that's the case, where am I? I'd recommend where that dog pen area is, around that, because that's a part of the property that's not really gonna be too disturbed after.
Well, that's not where the existing, or the proposed system is going to be. That shouldn't be disturbed at all.
No,
Usually-
correct. I'm saying to plant new trees there, because that was
Oh,
more.
to plant new trees.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Again, 58, what?
Sorry.
No worries. That would be my recommendation, to plant some new trees there for whatever's being taken out. Would be in that back right corner there, because when I was on site, it was fairly bare.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you don't want to have trees replanted near the leach field. You know, the root system, so it's best to keep any replanting of trees away from the field.
Okay.
They did provide nitrogen loading calculations.
I got it right here.
It's in the packet.
We've got them, we're good.
Oh, sorry, it's on a different page for me.
Okay.
3.36 parts per million.
That coming out of the tank? Or is that overall?
It's overall, the top two takes into account all forms of nitrogen loading.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, what I did was I looked at just the tank itself. And I do understand the nitrogen calculations. You guys know that I've been tracking these for over 2 years now.
Yes.
I'm very concerned when I see a tank that is going to discharge 58,288 of milligrams of nitrogen into 1,664 liters of water per day, because that comes out to 35.02 parts per million. Given the fact that those 35.02 parts per million will be watered down from all the other sources on the lot, what I'm hearing in this proposal is that they're also asking to reduce the clearance from the bottom of the diffusers from groundwater. So this is a system that's going to come inside the 5-foot requirement for Title V. And even though it's an IA system, it's cranking out 35.02 parts per million, the tank itself, not the lot, the tank. Given that, and given the fact that this is an RDA, I think for myself, this is going to require a lot more contemplation and a lot more investigation into everything that we're being told here. I won't be able to support this. It's inside the resource area. It's not in a buffer zone. It's in the resource area. It's all-out construction of a Title V system. And I assume the other system's coming out or staying in. What are you going to do with the other system? Crush it?
It's
fill
just
it?
staying in, yeah.
It'll be abandoned.
Abandoned.
It'll stay in. It'll stay in. It's going to be filled and abandoned
Okay.
to reduce any construction that would need to happen.
I have a hard time with this one as an RDA.
Is the alternative a mounded system to get that separation to groundwater?
Well, if the Board of Health gives them a purview or variance for it, that's their business. I'm concerned as a commissioner with that kind of nitrogen that close to the groundwater. On an RDA, I just
Sure.
can't support it.
So you're saying that it's 35 parts coming out of the tank?
Based on the calculations that we've been given, what's coming out of the bottom of those diffusers, which will be 4 feet above groundwater, is 35.02 parts per million.
That's at the SAS, not,
That's at the diffusers from the SAS. That's what's
Right.
going into the groundwater.
okay. So I don't have the calcs in front of me, so when you're saying that down to 13, is that taking into factors everything else in the lot?
Everything else. You're taking the rainfall and what's coming off the roof and everything else, and, it all tends to get diminished for the lot.
Right.
But we're not just looking at a lot, and I think we really do need to go back and revisit Regulation 30 and talk about nitrogen calculations a little bit more seriously with the subcommittee, and then bring it back to the commission. When we look at a tank, and especially in this case, that's asking to be even closer to the groundwater than what Title V regs require, that's cranking out 35 parts per million, that 35 parts per million of effluent that's going into that groundwater is not being mitigated by all the other things that are on this lot. Sure, the total runoff from the lot is 13 point, what they claim, and that mathematically plays out. But that's not really looking at what's going from that tank into that groundwater. And I think we need to be aware of this. We need to be cognizant of it. And certainly under an RDA, I think it really garners a full look through an NOI. It's my own thought.
Are the residents full-time residents in this property?
I don't know.
I do believe this house is for sale.
Yes, this house is for sale.
As is the one next door that we're also looking at.
When I went there, the lady was there, but I couldn't comment on full-time or not. So.
Sure, so we don't know if it'll be, constant use. But I wonder if this comes in as an NOI, would we have the opportunity to work with the applicant to explore alternatives to reduce that point source?
I would think
It's
so.
not point source of pollution.
So the property,
Septic systems are not point source pollution source.
the property we did, Steve, that was over off of Red Brick Road that had the drop-off that we had them bring the, in front of it? Thank you. Was that originally an RDA that we turned into an NOI, or did we pull that one through as an RDA, start to finish?
That one stayed as an RDA, in talks with the representative. He took some time.
Yeah.
But they were able to pass it as an RDA because he rerouted his entire plan, literally, as you know.
Well, that's what I'm just
It
like
went
saying.
under the
like,
driveway,
do
yeah.
we need to turn this into an NOI to continue to explore options to get this to where everybody's comfortable? Or can we continue to work this as an RDA and get to the end goal of where everybody's comfortable? And I just was trying to see past precedent, what did the board do?
Whether the project's continued or not will be up to the representative. They have to request a continuance. So if they wanted to request a continuance to pursue alternatives such as a mounted system or something, they could do that. If the representative doesn't request for a continuance, then a determination does have to be made tonight.
Okay.
That's for certain.
I got a few questions. I guess one, how is the system failing? I guess the representative can answer that. And two, I'll defer to staff. Is it more of a detriment to leave the system right now as we proceed to get into, if it goes to an NOI or anything like that, and we leave it there, the house doesn't sell, now the system's failing, there's more effluent leaching into the ground. And then, to Paul's point, if you're saying that stormwater runoff, if we can put a condition on where dry wells off some of the downspouts to bring the nitrogen load down to get this going, to get the new system, is that a possibility? That way, you take out a failing system and you put in a new system.
Yeah, if you want to ask you could talk to the applicant, the representative, about installing dry wells. That might be an option. I can't talk for the commission on how that would make them feel, but that would reduce it. They would have to redo the nitrogen calcs as well a little bit for that. So that, yeah.
Like I said,
So also understanding that, Reg 30 needs to be looked at. We are working with the current wording of Reg 30, and I agree it needs to be looked at again. But this, despite the conversation about, how much is going from the tank to the groundwater, it's infinitely more of an improvement than what's there today. I don't think there's any question about that. This is a substantial improvement as far as nitrogen loading from what exists in the ground today. And I think that I would recommend that the commission do everything it can to forward this project along with whatever conditions and oversight you see fit. But to leave a failed septic system in the ground, I think there just needs to be some consideration of that. And similar projects like this, when you have an IA system replacing a conventional Title V with no increase in flow, the best thing to do is to approve what's obviously better than what exists currently.
Anna, would you be able to answer the question from Commissioner Saul about the cause for the failure for the existing septic system?
I actually do not have the Title V inspection with me. I'm sorry, but I just wasn't provided with that. I didn't know that question was going to be brought up. But it does look like the system is like the size of a current 3-bedroom system with 2 chambers. The leaching field is also an improvement over the chambers with regard to more surface area for the water to percolate into. Has a bigger area for the leaching area, has a second tank, and the IA system, again, it does reduce the nitrogen load that was already being put into the ground with the sledgehammer there. And I will say the reason that the system is on this side of the property, if you'll look on the side of the property where the current system is, there's not enough room there to have that square footage where you're meeting all of the required buffers between the system and the house and the system and the property line anymore. So this is really the best place to put it with the least amount of disturbance, because rerouting the whole system to the front would also cause a lot more disturbance to the area.
Okay, thank you. Shauna, any questions? Sandy, any questions? No. Okay. A couple of questions, Anna. the variance from Board of Health for the 4-foot separation, I'm looking at the grade, the finished grade is 7.8, and I'm seeing some of the grades out there, 5.5, somewhere out there. Is there any reason why you went for the variance instead of just having the system mounted up another foot?
Well, to reduce the amount of change to the lawn, there already is a change in grade, as you'll see on the plan. Just trying to even it out and bring the grade up towards the corners of the property, increasing the grade that much more. It would be, I haven't been the one talking to the client, so I don't know if it would be a visual disturbance to them, but it also is just reducing disturbance to the ground. There's added cost as well in bringing the grade up, having to bring that material onto the property.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a way to satisfy, the commissioner's requirements or questions, saying, okay, can we get the 5-foot separation? That will help out with that, and adding dry wells for all roof leaders, and then come back with a new calculation to lower, help lower those numbers. I think that might go a long way. I don't know if other commissioners agree with that assessment.
I would agree with that.
Agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Paul, would you be happy with that?
It would be better.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with this as an RDA, because now I'm hearing that they're going to regrade the resource area as well. That's what she just mentioned. She was going to do some minor grading in the area. This is not a minor activity. It's an all-out replacement of a Title V system inside the resource area under an RDA. I can't support that.
Okay. Is that because of
State regulations.
state regulations?
Right.
So you're saying going back into that 310 CMR
Same- it's the same
it doesn't meet,
regulation.
same as the previous
Right.
applicant?
And that's for a buffer zone. This is not in the buffer zone. This is in a resource area.
Okay. All right.
Have we applied that consistently, though? Just RDAs for septics? I mean, I just mentioned one that we did that was sitting right on Red Brook, the Red Brook area. So, I think it's important for us to apply consistency so people that are coming before this commission know what paperwork to file to try to get through one go.
Sure.
I mean, we're sitting here saying, this seems like something that we should be happy about, right? Because this is somebody coming in to upgrade a septic system with no increase in footprint, no raise and replace. It almost feels like what we all dream of happening, in our resource area, that, or at least in the way, the way that we want things to go. People are improving property without any additional impact to the resource area. And I get what you say, Paul, but it seems like we're putting a churn here that is ultimately a paperwork filing issue and not us getting to the right outcome for the resource area.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Shauna. I think, this is primarily to sell a house, right? But I think we also have to exercise due diligence and cumulative impact. So applying the same decisions consistently over time, if we look at the quality of the waterways here in Mashpee, they're profoundly impaired. And so it is, in the best interest of the community and the resource areas for us to evaluate cumulative impact. So we're not going to make the same decision every time, but I understand what you're saying. I think we need to make this as workable as possible for the applicant, but I would agree with Commissioner Colombo that this is a big project. It would be great to have, even the questions that we're asking, the information's not available for us to discuss with the applicant this evening. I just do think this needs a little bit more thought and approach to ensure that we are doing our job to protect the groundwater, right?
But are we doing the best interest for the community if we leave a failed system in for another month, 2 months, 3, because we don't know how long it's going to be, but yet I'm assuming the client's on board to get this done fairly quick because they want to sell the house. So now you're
Sure.
going to get a failed system out and a new system in that's probably has less of a nitrogen load than what is currently taking place now. So I think that's better for the community.
It's a fair question, you know, but we got to take the time to do things right. I don't think that this is going to span on months and months. I'm sure these folks do want to sell this house. I don't know if anybody's living here right now. None of that's really in our purview. I think our purview is to determine whether or not this project is applicable for a notice of intent through Regulation 172 and 310 CMR. That's our job tonight. So.
Okay, any other commissioner comments, questions? No? Okay, Dan and Drew? Anything from you guys?
Hey,
Drew,
Drew,
I think you're muted.
Muted.
I just had a comment about 310 CMR and the applicability of the state act here, and that 10.02 section 2. So I understand it provides examples, but that's not everything. Ultimately, and I know this has been mentioned, it's all about the impact, right, to the resource area, whether it's in the resource area or the buffer zone. It's all about cumulative adverse impacts. And the existing septic system and its current failure is having an adverse impact. Replacing that with an IA system that was more efficient in nitrogen removal will reduce that impact. I don't see anything as far as missing information that the commission wouldn't be able to move forward with tonight for a vote, at least I would hope so. And I don't see the need for a notice of intent because this commission has literally approved dozens of projects through an RDA in resource areas for IA system upgrades previously. And I agree strongly with Shauna that consistency matters. And it's all about impact, as I said. And I think, you know, it's pretty clear what the current impact is and how that will be mitigated for by this proposal.
So consistency can change going forward.
Sure.
And if we're really saying that a replacement of a septic system should be because of the, you know, potential impact, beneficial or negative to the resource area as such, then we should say from today forward, every septic replacement should be an NOI.
Sure.
And I think, you know, I just, you know, being somewhat still the rookie on the team, I've seen septic systems be done mostly through RDAs. So that was just my question is, why is this one the one to make the change? And if it is, and again, given that we now have Reg 25 with a different level and stuff like that, maybe now is the time to say, going forward, they all need to be NOIs, but we can't kind of just pick and choose how we want to apply, how they
Certainly
can.
not.
We can talk about that at the discussion under water quality later this evening.
Sure.
But this,
Or we should put it on, have a really active debate about it at our quarterly meeting, Steve.
right.
That's
Okay.
coming up.
Yeah, but right now we have an IDA in front of us for a failed septic system, so,
Sure.
okay. All right, any other discussion? No? Okay, do we have a motion on this RDA for 67 Whippoorwill Circle?
Make a motion for a negative determination at 67 Whippoorwill.
Okay. Do we have a second? Okay. No second? Okay. With no second,
I will
Okay.
second the motion for the purposes of discussion.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have second for discussion.
for the purposes of discussion,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, with the motion made and second, discussion among members for this? Okay. Just my 2 cents on this. I think, I agree with Paul, moving the septic system a foot higher, getting it to the 5-foot level would go a long way, and adding dry wells and then having a whole new calculation would really improve this situation where we can take care of a failed septic system, move on. And I agree with Shauna that we can discuss whether we're in resource areas, and like you said in Regulation 25, do we want to have all septic systems in resource areas be NOIs from this point on? once we make that
Sure.
decision. But I think for my 2 cents worth on this RDA, if we raise the separation by a foot and add dry wells, I think that would go a long way. I don't know if other commissioners agree with that, or disagree with that. So,
I'd be a lot more
You're
comfortable.
going to condition the RDA
yeah,
to those two.
for those 2 items, yeah. And I need, if the commissioners agree on that, then we can add that in for the motion.
Well, would that be something with what we've heard tonight that would be able to be accomplished tonight, or would we rather ask them to come in with a revised RDA?
If you conditioned it tonight, they would have to submit, essentially it would be conditioning it for a dry well for the home and mounting the system.
Right, and replacing the trees, but I mean,
And replacing
hearing
trees, yeah.
from the
Right.
representative, is that something the applicants would be willing to do?
Oh, from the rep, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what no, I mean, this is our deliberations, but what I heard was that we don't know if that's something they would be open to.
We don't know. If it was approved tonight with those conditions, the rep has the option to appeal it if they wished, or they could just refile an RDA. It's not like a notice of intent. We have to then close it out.
Sure.
So they could submit the new information.
They could submit that as part of a condition. The condition would be they have to submit a revised plan before any work takes place. And then they would get that determination with the conditions, and they would be able to discuss with the homeowner from there whether she wants to pursue with that, whether she would want to appeal it, or whether she would want to reapply for some different type of, not system, but different type of layout, essentially.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it. So yes, that
I would
could be.
suggest instead of like conditioning that, I would just have a continuance so the representative has the
Yeah.
opportunity to discuss this with their client
Yeah,
instead of making it a requirement before you even know if they're going to be agreeable to it.
yeah, that's
So
what I was thinking
continuance is
too.
really, I think, the best thing moving forward.
I would agree.
Okay.
Thank you, Drew.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion before we go to the applicant?
No, I have nothing further.
Okay. Okay, Anna, what do you think about that?
Well, so now looking at the plan, it's, not trying to be disagreeable, but, if you look at the size of the system and where it's graded, my only thought of why the system might not be, graded higher now is that there might not be room to, as you do need a certain grade mitigation, moving off of the septic system. You need to have, I believe it's, you can only go down 1 foot every 5 horizontal feet.
Okay. You still there? You looked frozen.
Froze.
I'm sorry about that. My connection just got lost. But that would be my only concern with the requirement to raise the system, is there might not be enough room to do that with the requirements for the square footage of the SAS. I don't know, I mean, we could potentially go down the route of another type of system to reduce that square footage as well, but looking at the size of the backyard, where it's located, that might be the reason.
And Anna, if the application were to be continued to the next hearing, which is 2 weeks from now, would that be adequate time for you to connect with your colleagues and the homeowners to explore alternatives if raising that system up another foot is not feasible, given the space?
I will need to ask Peter about that. He's out of the country at the moment, so I think he's only away for a week, and he should be able to get in touch with the owner when he gets back. I'm unsure of that time frame.
Will they have to
see.
refile with Board of Health then as well?
What was that?
So you'll have to refile with Board of Health if you change the system.
Right.
Yeah, we would.
Okay. Would you like a continuance then on this
Well,
project?
if that seems like what the Conservation Commission is only going to agree to, then I guess that's your option. I can't say too much about what the client is going to agree to, and what's going to be possible with the design. Again, and I didn't design the system, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But he will be able to be here for the continuance, I know that, if it's in 2 weeks. I just don't know how much time he's going to have to consult with the client about that. And we will have to probably refile with the Board of Health as well, if we're going to be redesigning the system.
Okay. So you're requesting a continuance till August 21st?
You
I
can
wouldn't say I'm
always,
requesting it, but I will agree to it.
I think the other option tonight, Anna, realistically, given the conversations here, would be a positive determination, which would require an NOI filing. So I think those are the alternatives for this evening.
Well, we don't,
I
negative
would
may,
say probably a continuance then, so that, because I'm not.
But we
the
do have a
owner of
motion on the
business,
table for a negative
I don't feel comfortable making that
That's right.
decision.
Okay. We do also have a motion on the table for a negative determination, correct?
Yeah, the motion still has to be closed out.
motion's been made and seconded for discussion, so
Correct.
it might carry.
Yeah, might.
Then they're all set. So you could let the vote play out to see how it transpires, and then
Sure.
if it doesn't, then you'd have to go that route. So that's the call of the applicant. We don't
Yeah.
call the continuance. The
So did
applicant does.
you hear that, Anna? Do you want me to just recap it?
I would say that, sure, I would request a continuance, because I just don't,
Well, what I'm gonna
I don't
say,
have the information that I would need to.
what I'm gonna say is there
what
is a,
happens if it, just for Anna's sake, so the motion fails,
Right.
gets denied? What's the option
she
for the
then
applicant?
continues it, then she continues
she
it.
continues
And then
it?
she's back
Okay.
August 20, or they're back August
Okay.
21st, yes.
21st. So
So-
there is no downside
No.
for the
No,
vote
the-
to be taken?
Oh,
The
we
the
have to
motion's
vote now.
opened.
Yeah, we have to vote.
The motion's open, so we have to close it.
Okay.
So what that means is, we're gonna have a vote for the motion for a negative determination right now because it was opened and it was seconded. And then if that vote passes, you're good to go. If that vote fails, then request the continuance to the 21st is what would occur. So,
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Dan. All right, so we have a motion and a second. And on that motion, do we have conditions on that motion?
There was no conditions on the
No
motion.
conditions
It
on
was
that,
just-
okay.
Just a plain motion, yeah.
All right, do we want to have an amended motion with conditions? Anyone? For,
Are we going to amend it for a couple trees where the dog pen is? Is that what we're looking for? And a couple
Drywall.
dry wells?
in raising the system a foot?
Well, I would,
Well,
I
that's
would
fine.
recommend just keeping the motion as it is because
'cause
as
there-
she
there's
said, because
questions
in the
of-
case that passes.
Yeah.
And they don't want it, then they're
Right, they're stuck.
Stuck with it.
they're not stuck with it, but there's a different issue.
Change in design
So,
to raise it
yeah.
a foot
So
with, yeah.
I would recommend just closing the issue out, the motion, just having a vote on the motion as it stands, and then just seeing where it goes from there. I wouldn't convolute it any further, just in case there's.
With no conditions on it?
Right.
Yeah, because that's
No
how it was made
conditions.
so far. It's your call, you can still amend it if you like, but with all the conversation so far and all the concerns so far, yeah, so.
Okay. So, motion made and motion seconded with no conditions on it right now. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Sarah?
No.
Paul?
No.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
No.
Okay. And I vote no also.
So the motion did not carry, so would you like to continue at this time?
Yes.
Okay, so this 67 Whippoorwill Circle will be continued until August 21st.
Okay.
We have to
Thank
take
you.
a vote on that, right?
Yes, we got to make a
Yes.
motion on that, so. Okay, so we need a motion to continue 67 Whippoorwill Circle RDA to August 21st.
So moved?
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
We will see you the 21st.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll actually see you right up next for 68 Whippoorwill Circle.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Yes, so,
All right, so,
Hey, let the chair open it.
okay, next hearing is 68 Whippoorwill Circle. Michael Scarpoli, proposed IA septic system upgrade. This is an RDA, and representative is Engineering Works, Inc. Okay. And
all right.
state
so,
for the record, your name and company.
Oh, yes, I'm Anna Wimmer, I'm a representative of Engineering Works. So for 68 Whippoorwill, the work is consisting of, it's abandoning the existing
set
leaching
plans for
system, and installing a pump chamber and a new leaching system. The existing IA system is going to remain in place. The work is going to be conducted in the southeast corner of the property, and there will be minimal disturbance to the existing vegetation. The vegetation in the area at the moment is just wood chips and a couple of rose bushes, and I believe they plan on replacing it with wood chips. Just let me check my notes to make sure. Yeah, loam and seed, so it would be lawn. That would be replacing the wood chips and the rose bushes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, discussion amongst commissioners, comments?
Yeah, hello again, Anna. Is this system failed as well? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. And I do see here on the plan, this one is actually also requesting a variance, and it looks like maybe it has been approved by the Board of Health, but for 3 feet of separation between the bottom of the system and the high mean groundwater. And then I also see a request for a 4-foot reduction to the required 5-foot strip-out boundary around the perimeter of the SAS. Is there any other information that you can share on these two modifications?
Okay. Yes, so it's not a 3-foot reduction, it's a 2-foot reduction to make to make it 3 feet of separation between the bottom of the system and the groundwater.
Okay.
It was granted under remedial approval. And then the 4-foot reduction to the 5-foot strip out boundary, I believe is just because of the proximity to the shed and the vegetation around it. I know that they're going to be putting up an impervious barrier there, or I think it's a polyline barrier between the shed and the SAS. There's just not a lot of room in the front yard, and so that's the reason for that variance. Or backyard, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait, sorry, one moment. Oh, I was misreading that. It is a 3-foot separation. No, sorry.
You had it right. You had it right.
I was over
You had it.
that, sorry. Yeah, 2-foot separation, 2-foot reduction in the separation between the bottom of the SAS and groundwater.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I've got, Steve.
Okay,
Thanks.
Paul?
I'm all set.
Okay.
No questions.
All right, Rich, any questions? Sandy?
Did we have nitrogen calculations for this one?
They did come in digitally. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
We can pull them up on the screen, I think.
it's 10.67 parts per million, yeah.
Right.
Are you all set, Sandy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. This looks very similar to the previous application with less separation
Right.
and no dry walls and things like that. So sounds like we're in the same boat as the previous one. Do you
A
have any-
leakier boat.
Yeah, it's got a few more holes in it.
Yeah,
That was
It's closer to the ground.
closer, yep.
a foot, yeah.
Dan, Drew, you guys have any comments on this one?
No comments.
I don't have any
All set?
comments, no.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments? None? All right, do we have a Motion on RDA for 68 Whippoorwill Circle.
Make a motion for a negative determination at 68 Whippoorwill Circle.
Okay. Do we have a second on that motion? Okay.
I will second the motion for the purpose of discussion only.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second, and we'll have commissioner discussion. Okay.
And I'll begin the discussion.
Yep. Go ahead, Paul.
It's, for all practical purposes, the same issue, only it's a foot closer to the groundwater. So I really don't see the feasibility of approving this as a negative determination. Based on all of the deliberations and questions that we had from the applicant in the previous hearing.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Sarah?
Yeah, I would agree. We don't need to have the same conversation twice.
Okay. Rich, Shauna, Sandy?
I mean,
Anything else?
it's do-over, right? It's ditto.
Right.
Okay. All right. With any comments from the audience? Seeing none. We got a motion made and seconded for negative determination for 68 Whippoorwill Circle. That, do a roll call vote. Sarah?
No.
Paul?
No.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
No.
Okay, and I vote no also, so that failed. Okay, so Anna, would you like a continuation on this one based on the negative, the positive determination there?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, is August 21st a good date for this? Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you. All right, we have a motion for continuance for 68 Whippoorwill Circle to August 21st.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, when a motion made and seconded, do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes also. Okay, thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a notice of intent, filing for 45 Manitoba Road, Josephine Foster Trust. This has been continued twice. I don't have the dates from the previous continuations, but this is the third hearing, so.
Green cards?
Yeah, give it to- Okay, so with this project, I'm going to recuse myself because the owner is my client, so I'll let Sarah take over and I'll step out of the room.
Okay, thank you, Steve. We'll come and get you.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Would you give us your name for the record, please?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the commission. David Flaherty for the applicant, 45 Manitoba Road. What's being proposed here is two small additions. One is to the east side, southeast of the property. The other one's to the northeast, I guess you could call it, the side of the property. And also a replacement of the deck to the south. There's also a proposed shed in the northeast corner. What we're doing is we're proposing mitigation planting at a 2-to-1 ratio. And I'll just read from the narrative. Resource areas, there are no BVWs within 100 feet of the property, but it does lie within a FEMA flood zone AE elevation 11. And the total number of square footage for the additions will be about 580 square feet. The addition to the north is just an expansion of a bedroom. It's not an additional bedroom, so there'll be no additional design flow. And the addition to the southeast will be just an expansion of living space. Again, no additional bedrooms. These additions will be on pilings supported by sonotubes with construction using current Mass Building Code and best management practices. All the roof runoff will be collected into the existing gutter system, and French drains may be installed if the gutter system is not feasible. And then the deck is about 400 square feet. It will replace the existing deck, and the sonotubes will be repurposed so as to eliminate any disturbance or replaced if necessary. And there'll be, there's a proposed 8x10 shed, and we can, you know, depending on how you feel about it, we can have it installed on skids or diamond piles, whatever you prefer. Maybe sonotubes, but I think that that's just an additional disturbance that we can avoid if we can. Any excavated material will be stockpiled to the northeast of the property or removed, and the sonotube footings for the project shouldn't take more than a week or so, depending on weather conditions. And again, the remediation plantings will be a 2-to-1 ratio, and I've recommended a couple of different species, highbush blueberry, arrowwood, and winterberry, and sheep laurel, but certainly recommendations for additional or replacement native plant species will be welcomed by the applicant from the conservation staff. And let's see, I believe the remediation planting areas were staked out already. And for the mitigation plantings, we're proposing a 3-year plan, 3 growing seasons, and that is to be verified by the staff as well, conservation staff. Any plantings not found to be viable will be immediately replaced in kind. And I think if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Great. Thank you, David. I'll go to commissioners. Any questions?
I have more of a comment than a question. The shed is an 8x10 shed, so that, we would have to have some verification that that's anchored down. We're in a flood zone. So I know one of the first things I read was that it was going to sit on a skid of some kind.
Yeah, like a 6x6, I think is what it
Yeah,
is, something like that.
and I just see this as being problematic. If there's a storm surge that comes in, that shed's going to just move along. So if we can get it anchored down,
In that event, I would recommend diamond piles because it can be anchored directly to it, and the diamond piles are not going anywhere.
Right.
And those are, as you know, very easy installation and very, very non-invasive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would recommend that then for the shed.
And we'd welcome that as a condition
Okay.
as well.
and there is a waiver request for 25C7C. I'm not sure if I'm aware of the compelling need to do this work. Has that been addressed? I
A
mean,
compelling need.
yeah, why are we expanding the footprint of the home?
The applicant just wishes to enjoy the property to the fullest extent they could. We don't feel that they're imposing on any property lines. The deck does need replacing, and it would just make the house more comfortable to live in, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
Okay. And you feel as though the mitigation proposals that you've presented improve and offset the extra infrastructure that's in the floodplain?
I believe so, but I'm certainly welcome to any either additional species instead of or in addition to.
There's very little vegetation on that, left on this
Right.
lot,
Yeah.
Paul, so, I mean, I think adding any vegetation back to this lot is a positive thing for a flood.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And it'll help with any kind of storm flow, if any, you know, if it ever occurs.
580.
So we went to 3-to-1, you'd be okay with that instead of 2-to-1?
If that's what the commission requests, sure. I'm just going by your own regulations.
There's a lot of gravel driveway that could get turned into something else.
Yeah, between the septic system and what's existing there, it might be a tight fit, but
Paul, did you have any other questions or comments?
I'm all set, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Is there anybody else? Commissioners, questions, comments?
I'm just wondering if we go with added mitigation, we would need to see a plan, correct?
A planting plan?
Yeah, so could that be a condition to this if we approve it?
Just
Okay.
as a suggestion, perhaps the commission can vote on it tonight, pending revised plans showing additional mitigation, if that's a...
Yeah, the way, if the commission feels comfortable, they have done it in the past, the way that works is they would vote, if the vote passes tonight, that would be the first condition on the order of conditions, and what it would state is no building permit will be signed off by conservation until such conditions are met. In this case, talking about a landscape plan or having more mitigation added on, in other words, revising the plan, that could be done before any building permit is signed off by conservation. So in other words, you wouldn't be able to conduct the work because you can't get a building permit without conservation. So that can be a condition, absolutely.
Because I know the applicant's anxious to have the shed delivered. It's already been ordered, it's ready to go, it's just...
Yep, and I think around that shed is a good spot for more mitigation, as well as, I didn't really take a look. I see the homeowners here. Behind the existing shed, is that just bare area that could use mitigation as well?
The existing shed?
Yeah.
There's only 5 feet of property between the shed.
But could you put plantings there, like, could it accommodate? Oh, you did, okay. So, yeah, so anything that's gonna be conditioned like that can absolutely be, and I
Okay.
do see, as has been discussed, there's spots on the site that can absolutely be selected for more mitigation.
Okay, thank you.
Drew, do you have any comments?
No comments, thank you.
Okay. Dan, anything else?
No, I'm happy to what I see coming at us now with this application. From the beginning, with the shed not being on there, also just a couple of other little things. I think this is absolutely acceptable. I do see, obviously, there is an increase in footprint, so there is that there, but with the lack of vegetation on the site currently, and with the proposed increase of vegetation, as well as the discussion of conditioning more, I think that will be very, very good for this site. Going forward, especially since we had an RDA earlier this year for tree removal. I think that also decreased some vegetation on sites, which absolutely needed to be done because of the house. So I think this is a good opportunity for that, for increased mitigation, as well as for the commission to get a property lot with more vegetation on it. I think this is a good opportunity.
Especially in a flood zone.
Especially in a flood zone, yes, sir. So, and just wanted to confirm that the side addition would be on, was that piles, like sonotube style?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so also with that, I think that's better than the typical foundation that was being proposed originally. Flood vents are great, they absolutely are, but in a high storm event, sonotubes or piles are gonna do more, they're gonna maintain the area better than any foundation. So yes, that's where I'm at with it.
Thank you, Dan. Is there anybody here from the public that would like to comment on this application? In the room, online?
No one online.
Please, you've got to come up and, for the record, share your name, please.
Thank you for
Yep,
asking.
of course.
I don't understand the diamond pilings. The shed is was proposed to be delivered again tomorrow, so I don't know if I can get the condition of what is being suggested. I thought the skids that the shed was being built on was going to be adequate, just like the existing shed that is already there is on the same skids in the same sort of area. So I'm not sure if I need a condition, as you're suggesting, to
Live with the shed.
get it stuck to the
In
ground.
that event, then, I'm not gonna get into what the other shed is because it's pre-existing. I will say that. But with that event, would you be open to securing the 4x4, 6x6? It doesn't matter what it is. The skid, would you be open to securing that to the ground through,
Sure.
say, a 4-foot-long rebar or something drilled right through it and just hammered in?
Yeah,
Would that be acceptable?
yeah.
Okay, so if the commission is acceptable to that, then they can consider that as well. So.
Okay. Okay, if there are no other comments, I'll go ahead and throw my questions in. And sir, just to speak to your concern, in our current Regulation 25, There's Performance Standard 3 that says that any objects or structures constructed or placed on a lot within land subject to coastal storm flowage must be properly secured so as to be resistant to displacement by the action of storm surges and waves. So that's where that's coming from. And I just wanted to note that, you know, I visited the site again. We've seen this property before with the tree removal, and I actually think there's quite a bit of vegetation on the site for a xeriscaped lot, but it's all landscape. There's a lot of mulch. I think if we are going to be looking at the planting plan and the mitigation, I'd like to see some ground cover. That's really what's going to trap that water and help it infiltrate into the ground. So certainly the conservation staff can help advise to that. Maybe replace some of that mulched area, if at all possible, with
Maybe bearberry or?
Sure, yeah, I would defer to the conservation staff on what would be appropriate for survival there. I did see that the area for the shed is already cleared, so I would just want to make sure that we're including, you know, that vegetated area in the mitigation planning. So one of the commissioners suggested a higher ratio, certainly be something that we would be interested in. And I think just as a general note, because we have a lot of applications coming in this evening requesting a waiver, I just want to direct the applicant, all the applicants in the room, online, for the community members listening, to Chapter 172, 7A3. This is our waiver of requirements. And so the waiver of requirements, I just want to note, is not a box that we check. Having a sentence requesting a waiver of requirements is actually not sufficient per our local regulations, and requesting a waiver does not mean that it's going to be granted. There are 3 key elements for a waiver request per our regulations to be submitted, the first of which Commissioner Colombo alluded to. How compelling is the need for the requested waiver? So if we're looking to, there are some lots in town which we can appreciate no work can happen on in alignment with our current regulations. So if it's impossible to build a home on a buildable lot, if we're looking at health and safety reasons for flood zone compliance, those would be compelling reasons. But it does have to be demonstrated that this is worth regulatory relief from the regulations that are in place to protect from adverse impacts to the resource areas, which is our purview. The second one is to describe to what degree the normal standards of the regulations are being asked to be set aside. Is it moderate, major, both in scope and impact and continuing cumulative impact? And then the third one is to what degree the compensatory or mitigating measures will result in a significant enhancement of the capacity of the pre-existing resource area and/or adjacent buffer to protect the wetland values of Chapter 172. So we see this coming in a lot, and I did just want to note that these components are necessary to provide sufficient information to this commission to allow us to do our due diligence as we are assigned to do by state law in the town of Mashpee to protect the resource areas. So just wanted to, I know getting this in here was critical. We asked a couple times for this. Thank you for putting this in here. But for any future projects, please do keep in mind that this is not a box that we check, and we do take these waiver requests rather seriously, as is our job to do. And with that, I don't have any further questions. What I heard tonight is that if we are to condition the project, some of the things that we would be interested in conditioning for the permit would be anchoring the shed, so either a 4-foot rebar for the skid or diamond piles, as was recommended by conservation staff. And then we would like to have a planting plan submitted with ground cover to absorb more water. 3-to-1 ratio mitigation plantings, yes. Is there any other discussion amongst commissioners? Okay, we're ready to entertain a motion.
Make a motion to close an issue at 45 Manitoba with the following conditions: a 3-to-1 mitigation planting, a 3-year plan with that, and replace some of the ground with ground cover, and the shed be secured with 4-foot rebar to skids.
Great. Do we want to include the planting plan being submitted as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Motion heard. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Deliberations.
Any deliberations? Any further deliberations amongst commissioners? Thank you, Paul.
I assume we're going to go with the rebar?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, so that should really be on all four sides.
Yes, that would be in all four
It's
corners.
like one here, one there. So,
Yeah.
All four. Okay,
Alright.
just to clarify that.
I'm gonna note it.
That's the only thing I wanted to mention in
Thank
the
you.
discussion.
Any other discussion or deliberation? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Paul?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Motion carries.
Okay.
So you're all set. You will receive the determination within 21 days.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Good luck.
thanks to the staff, they've been most helpful.
I will take that plan of record, though.
Okay, sorry.
Nice call, Rich, on the 3-1.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
That was nice. Welcome back.
Okay, thank you.
Steve? We started at
right.
6:30, you're awful late.
You what?
We started at 6:30, you're awful late.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll move right along. Okay. All right, so next one is notice of intent filing for 28 Wilson's Grove Road, Hayworth, and Kathleen Neal II. Proposed raise of existing dwelling and construct and maintain new single-family dwelling with IA septic system upgrade. Representative is BSS Design, Inc. And this has a DEP number of 433354. Okay, good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Tom Bunker. I'm a registered land surveyor with BSS Design. We've prepared this plan for the Neild family. It is a raise and replace. On the narrative, I describe how the existing house is non-compliant with building and flood zone regulations. It is, and the house is entirely in the flood zone. It's elevation, flood zone AE elevation 13. It's not a coastal A zone. And the floor of the house is a 10.5, and the ground is about elevation 8. And there is a small basement under it, and the septic system field is pretty sure does not conform to current Title V regulations. It's in a Zone 2 of a public water supply, so looking at that, it cannot, the number of bedrooms cannot be increased, and it's not being proposed to be increased. Many variances or existing nonconformities for zoning, and there'll be some variances, nonconformities with the proposed septic system also. We are proposing, it is a two-bedroom house, and this will be a two-bedroom house. The existing building will be slightly smaller, about 50 square feet smaller, and it will be lifted. The existing house is floor 10.5 feet, but the new floor will be up at elevation 15, because the new requirement is for the floor to be 2 feet higher than the flood zone. So that'll be up at elevation 15. There'll be a crawl space slab at ground level, elevation 9 underneath it. Of course, the foundation will have the flood vents to allow the water to flow through in the case of a flood. The current house has the septic system entirely in the back with the deck sitting above the septic tank. In this case, the better way for maintenance and pumping is to put the septic tank in the front of the house. And it does have the IA system, the sledgehammer that you heard about from Anna Wormer was done by Engineering Works, Pete McEntee. So the tank with the treatment is in the front of the house, and it will be, has also a pump chamber in it that will pump to the back of the lot, up to the leaching area in the back. Because as you can see, the existing house covers half the lot area. proposed house covers a hair under the entire lot area. With the septic tank in the front and the leaching in the back, we have gone a little different, and we're putting the stormwater drainage leaching underneath the crawl space in the flood zone, underneath the slab. It's made with the lightweight plastic chambers, so it could be dug out, taken apart by hand if necessary, if anything happens to it. And we also have a pop-up sort of a pressure relief in case there's too much water coming down too fast. But I don't think that's the case, because this, I believe, is calculated much like 130% of the runoff volume. So it's oversized, so there wouldn't be any problem. Currently, there is no drainage on the site, so that's an improvement. We also have two drain inlets at the front corners of the lot. The surface there is crushed stone, the way a lot of the lot is now. There's a reduction in lawn area, slight reduction in lawn area. Drew had reminded me I didn't get the calculations in, the nitrate calculations in, and it goes from 23 parts per million down to 13 parts per million, thanks mainly to the denitrifying, the advanced treatment in there. So we're taking a non-conforming house, non-conforming to flood regulations. We did request also a waiver that was just discussed, but mainly because we cannot satisfy any of the setbacks to the buffer. We're in the flood zone, so there's nothing that can be done about that. We're under the lot size that would require any naturally vegetated buffer strip. There's no vegetation on the property now except lawn. A small amount has been added across the front of the house where some room for some shrubs. If you require, we could put native, but it's probably, the owner probably more rather have some hydrangeas or something down there, but there is across the front, I think that's like 70 square feet of planting area, which doesn't exist now, for shrubbery on the property. This one too, I don't think Pete has gone through the Board of Health yet, but this property also, he designed it with a 4 feet to groundwater. I don't want to get into that discussion again. The owner is here, and so we can increase that to 5 feet. It would mean mounding it a little bit in the backyard, but that's fine. We'll do that so that we can conform to the 5-foot groundwater separation for this property. So those are that's my description of the project. I'll take any questions.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, we'll go to commissioners. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I see that the waiver you mentioned and the nitrogen calculations, it looks like those came into us about 7 hours ago. And so I do just want to make a note for you as the applicant and for other applicants in the room. We had a couple of applications where the documents, I don't believe, were received within the filing timelines. But again, just blanket statement that those timelines are not empty procedural elements. They're not boxes to check. It allows us as commissioners sufficient time to assess the impact or the risk of adverse impacts to the resource areas. That's what we're here to do. And I actually haven't had sufficient time to review either one of those documents. And so I would say, based on that, I don't have enough information to support, closing and issue a permit tonight. But I do have a couple of questions for you, just based on the site visit, if that's acceptable. What are the current flood conditions at the house? This road, we've seen several projects. It's 5 houses from the water, but the houses are about this big. So could you speak to maybe, or maybe the applicant if they're here?
What was the question
The
again?
current flood conditions, are you all experiencing nuisance floods on a regular basis, or?
The flood conditions?
Yes. Storm surges,
It's in a flood zone.
nuisance tides, sure. I guess my question would be the recurrence of water coming in or overflowing the current site.
I guess, are you asking if it's flooded before? Is that what-
Yeah, I'm asking how often it's flooded right now, yeah.
Well, it's in a 100-year flood zone. I don't know, I can ask. Has it ever flooded in your?
Not yet.
Hurricane Bob in 90.
Nothing in Papaneset has ever flooded. That's,
Hmm.
it's an interesting.
That is
But,
really interesting. Okay,
But it's your
Fair
right
enough.
question, because in Bluff as well, which we'll talk about later, Wilson and Bluff
right.
are set closer to walking straight off the beach onto the road, where if you go a
It's
little,
quite flat, right.
you know, if you go farther down, going towards like the marketplace, you've got the seawalls in Papaneset.
Right, it's very
Um,
low elevation, yep. Yeah, okay. Well, I wonder, has there been any opportunity or discussion to, and not having had an opportunity to take a look at the waiver, my apologies if this was covered, but what's the compelling need for rebuilding the house? Is there an opportunity to just raise it up to achieve flood zone compliance? It looks like it's in excellent condition.
It would still require a notice of intent, wouldn't it? I mean,
It sure
what's
would,
that?
yeah, but it would create a whole lot less disturbance. And luckily, on Wilson's Grove Road, if you look across the street and to the right just a little bit, we can actually see what's involved in tearing down a house and building back a new one. It's completely stripping the lot and blowing it up. It's nothing but exposed substrate and soil. And
that
we've
would-
got 2 of those across the street already.
Have to happen
So,
on this also, too. You'd have to lift the house way up, go under, strip off, put foundations under it. It would require the same thing, and
But if you're talking about, this was built in 1940, right? Is there asbestos in the house?
might be lead paint.
Huh?
what,
There's probably asbestos in the house.
could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you go back, think about building codes in 1940 and what they were building with, and if that house were to get demolished and the, catastrophic, what kind of,
Sure.
what kind of stuff is going to go into the resource area?
If it hasn't been already remediated,
yeah,
which it could have been, absolutely.
I think there's also, though, with all that work, you could easily get into spending more than 50% of the value of the structure,
Sure.
in which case most of the other systems would have to be upgraded. Insulation, I'm sure, is substandard, wiring is substandard, plumbing is substandard, all of that would have to be replaced. It costs more to do that than to take it away and build a new house.
Sure, understood. And forgive me, again, if this is in the documents and I missed it, is there any proposed increase to the interior living space, the square footage of the house? Or are we
That
tearing
is-
it down and building it back in exactly the same
No,
size?
it's a two-story house.
So we're doubling living space, essentially. Okay. Thank you. Those are my only questions, but I will note, Mr. Chair, that we did receive an abutter letter to be read into the record for this property. So
Okay, thank
that's
you.
it, but thank you.
Paul?
I would echo some of what Sarah had to say in terms of the lack of notification for not only the waiver request, but for the nitrogen calculations. There is also, and I think, Mr. Chairman, you'll probably be reading into the record the abutters' concerns.
Yes.
Those are compelling concerns, in my view, and based on the fact that when I read this, there was no request for a waiver, and I still didn't have the nitrogen calculations. I thought that this is going to be problematic. I would suggest that a copy of this abutters letter be given to the representative and to the owner so that they can come prepared to, deal with the questions that this person's bringing up. There's some serious concerns. I know recently we we worked on a couple of projects on the same street that were literally side by side with very little room to get in and do the construction. And I know in this letter, the clearance numbers, and I didn't go down to verify them, but, you know, when you see a house that's less than 4 feet from another house, and then later on tonight, we're going to have another proposal for the same thing going on the other side of that person, there's some serious concerns for catastrophic issues that could possibly occur with soils such as what's there. It's sand. So, you know, I would like to see the commission be allowed to have more time to look at that waiver request, more time for the applicant to prepare the compelling need and how the resource area is going to be improved. Those are things I'd like to see. I know it's not applicable, but Regulation 25 has changed, and the new Regulation 25 incorporates all of the Woods Hole oceanographic data. So I was surprised to hear that there was never any flooding. I hate to be the harbinger of bad news, but when you look at the Morris Data Viewer, and I did for this particular area just out of curiosity, the probability of an increase from the 100 storm year frequency is about 3 to 5% greater, and the flood depths of the water will be somewhere in the vicinity of 6 to 7 feet. So unless sea level rise changes and starts going down, I think, you know, looking into the future, and that's what regulation, the new 25 is all about. The Cape Cod Commission has directed conservation commissions to look at 2050 as a baseline. But there's also figures in there for 2030. I don't look at the 2070 ones because I don't think I'm going to be around. But I do look at the 2050 ones. I'd like to, you know, keep that as a target for myself. But even at 2030, there's some serious issues, and that's not that far away. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Rich?
No questions.
Shauna?
I think Paul's point, and if you look at this plus the application for Bluff Ave, you know, you could look at this and a standalone and say, yeah, it's okay, but with the two other properties across the street from that and Bluff Ave, and again, where it is so close to sea level there, I think there is a lot of disturbance going on in a very small area, that if we were to catch a storm in the next year, 2 years, with all of this disturbance, what's going to happen to kind of the overall neighborhood. So I think the butters letter was kind of a very on point, you know, what's this, and it may be a case of this is okay, but not now type situation until, you know, the other two properties get built and kind of established and things like that. So that's my big concern, and it probably trickles over into the Bluff Ave application as well, because that's basically the backside of this property.
So do you penalize this applicant because there's two new houses being built across the road?
You're not, I didn't say that.
No,
I was saying that this could be a very good application, but if you have to take into consideration, if we were to have a hurricane this fall, and this was an open, you know, an open construction site with potentially three other open construction sites around it, what does that do to the overall neighborhood?
I understand your point you noted, but when do you do it? You could have a storm today. We don't predict the weather.
No, but you say those two other properties across the street could be built within two, you know, there'd be, one's almost, you know, framed and things like that, the other one's in there. They'll be done, you know, within a year, right? It's a case of, does this just need to be pushed out?
So you're saying let those two finish?
Yes,
and
that
then
was what I'm
let the
saying.
applicant come back and.
Yeah, or condition it, you know, and I don't know if we've ever done this, but condition it with a timing on it.
I mean, being in the building trade is very difficult to.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's no perfect thing here on this one, you know, and again, if the other two hadn't happened and we were looking at this as a standalone and not looking at bluff, but it is our job to look at the total resource area.
Cumulative impact.
Cumulative impact.
Cumulative impact is the regulatory language, absolutely.
Okay. Sandy?
I agree with everything you've said, but I also am concerned for the abutter. I think that her concerns need to be answered. I was down at the site, and with the construction going on right across the street, you couldn't even get down the street with all the construction vehicles. And where the stakes are for this new build, it's right up against the abutters. So there seems to be no parking.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big concern that needs to be addressed.
Would peer review be useful, just in addressing the concerns that the abutter expressed? And again, we'll be reading this into the record, so everybody will have the information. We did receive that in enough time for the commission to review it, but peer review to assess the potential for destabilizing the abutter's foundation and property, given that this is all beach sand that, and we're tearing everything down. Would peer review be an appropriate application here?
I'll let Drew comment on the peer review, but the other option, the other way you could also do it is having like a weekly report while they're doing work on the foundation to make sure there's no collapsing, make sure there's no structural damage to any neighboring properties, or in this case, houses, quite honestly. You could also do that to have weekly or even like very immediate reports for the building of the foundation. Because once that's in, you can even see like across the way, once they put the foundation in, they stabilized everything on that one house so far, immediately. That's because when I went on site, I wanted to check how they stabilized.
Sure.
And after they put that foundation in, they stabilized it all immediately. And that's the only reason they started work on the next lot next door, was because that one was now stabilized. So now let's go into that.
And what does that do? I mean, if we're reporting damage after it happens versus using available science to try and prevent or mitigate damage?
It could be during that, you want to make sure that they have an engineer on site to ensure there's no destruction going on. Stop work if something happens, call conservation immediately, do the whole reporting and assessment from there, and then see if work can commence, things like that. So that stuff can be conditioned. For a peer review, I'm definitely going to defer to Drew on that one.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Tom, go ahead, Drew. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think a peer review is necessary because, who are you going to reach out to? A coastal geologist is going to tell you that the whole site's developed with existing houses. I think if you, defer to a contractor who has, development and site preparation experience, whoever the contractor, of record is going to be on this project, they can probably have very valuable information as far as how to stabilize, an existing excavation hole, because I'm sure they've encountered that situation many times in their expertise. But reaching out to do a peer review, peer review is usually a review of a notice of intent, make sure it's, filled out correctly, has all the requisite information. But from a coastal standpoint, there's no coastal engineer that's going to come up with a solution that will be better than a contractor who has direct experience with this specific subject matter. So I don't think a peer review is necessary.
Thanks, Drew.
Sure.
All right, Tom, I have a few questions. I know you said this is not coastal area. How far away is the velocity zone from this property? One or two properties away, or?
There's a couple. This is like the fifth house in. It's several away.
Okay.
I'd have to look at that.
It should be marked.
All right,
no?
and then as for the proposed landscape and just the open air, is just going to be lawn and those paver steps? Is that what?
Lawn.
Yeah.
Lawn in the back, gravel up the two sides, just the same way it is now, basically.
Okay.
And and that, planting bed across the front, and then gravel surface, stone parking area.
Okay. And it proposed one parking spot underneath the tank on the front?
It's the same parking as, same amount of parking as there is now.
Okay. I didn't see any erosion control on the plan. Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah, there'd just be the silt fence along there. That's
Okay. One of my concerns, I think, and I'll read the butter letter next, but one of my concerns is that there's not a lot of separation between the abutting buildings, especially to the west, where there's 2.3 feet to the property line, and, you know, there's no dimension to the building, but it looks like it's less than 3 feet. And then on the east side, it looks a little bit more, but there's no dimensions there. I'm really concerned with the width of this house, that, one, you won't be able to construct it without damaging the abutting properties, because I don't know how you can, you know, dig a hole and for a foundation at 2.3 feet and 1.7 feet and stay on a property, then frame it, because your framing ladders and lulls and things like that would be on the abutter's property. So is there any thought of reducing the width of the house and keeping the length of the house to gain more space? You know, and then, you know, this, you know, it's not our purview, but I know with the building department, there's a fire protection issue also too, because of the distances. So that's one of my main concerns. I don't know how you can construct this building properly with those dimensions. And then without damaging the abutting property. So is there a plan for that? A construction methodology or anything?
Well, not for me, I'm a land surveyor.
So, okay.
They have a structural engineer, you know, our Architect Associate has a structural engineer that works on their projects that can figure some things out. I mean,
Okay.
just generally, there are ways of, you know, sheet piling and stuff, but I can't say what they have
Okay.
thought of, if, you know, if anything, for doing this.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's not in its filing, is no house plans. So we can't see the you know, the scope of this project in relation to the two abutting properties, which are 1.5-story buildings. I know this is a 1-story existing building, but there's no house plans. And then the other thing too, is I'm concerned with, it's showing, you know, you have foundation with the drain and flood vents and things like that, but I'm concerned with channeling during a flood event. Because of the narrow distances, you're gonna have concrete walls. You know, is there any thought to putting this house on pilings so water can flow through underneath it and reduce any channeling and erosion during a storm event? So that's another one of my concerns. I'm also concerned with the, you know, 4-foot separation from groundwater, which were discussed in previous hearings. And then how to improve the resource area also too, so. Those are my concerns. Okay. Any other questions, concerns from commissioners? Okay, with that, I'll just go to Drew and Dan first before I read the abutter letter.
So, in regards to improving the resource area, I mean, I think this is one of the ones that has some mitigation being offered up. But I just wanted to point out, because this is still Regulation 25 existing that applies, when you have a lot size that's under 5,000 square feet, there are no standards under Reg 25. So there is no standard as far as needing to seek a waiver, and there's no standard for a naturally vegetated buffer strip, and there's no requirement for mitigation. Because the lot size is under 5,000 square feet, and it is an isolated lot within land subject to coastal storm flow. So just wanted to point out what the existing language says and how it applies to this project. No other comments.
Dan, you all set?
Nope, my comments that reverberate that, so I'm all set.
Okay, great. Any comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna read into a letter from Christina Wilworth, 26 Wilson Grove, that buttered to the west. So, subject concerns regarding proposed rebuild at 28 Wilson Grove, and then she has with additional reference to proposed rebuild at 89 Bluff Ave. So this reading will cover both projects, so we don't have to read it twice. So, okay, dear members of the Conservation Commission, my name is Christina Wilworth, and I'm the owner of 26 Wilson Grove, which directly abuts 28 Wilson Grove, owned by the Neild Family Trust, and 89 Bluff Ave, owned by John and Kirsten DeSanto. writing in advance of the August 7th, 2025 public hearing to express concerns about the proposed raise and replace project at 28 Wilson Grove, the potential for both the 28 Wilson Grove and 89 Bluff Ave projects to proceed simultaneously. While I support thoughtful, environmentally responsible improvements to our neighborhood, I am deeply concerned about how the proposed construction at 28 Wilson Grove could negatively affect drainage, erosion, and long-term environmental stability of my property, as well as the physical stability of my two-story structure, especially given the extremely close space between our homes. Current distance is less than 3 feet at its narrowest point. The proposed plan appears to keep similar spacing from my home, estimated at approximately 35 to 48 inches, but extends that proximity to more points along the shared boundary into 2 stories. The current home at 28 Wilson Grove is a single-story structure. So she goes to say, item number 1, drainage and runoff concerns. The project at 28 Wilson's Grove poses significant risk of increased stormwater runoff due to additional impervious services, including a larger roof and new foundation. Per the last assessment, the current foundation type is pier. Given our proximity, even minor changes in grade and a roof drainage could redirect water towards my property, and particularly my foundation, which is only an 18-inch crawl space enclosed by foundation walls, potentially causing flooding, soil saturation, or structural damage. It's also unclear how the cumulative impacts of construction at both 28 Wilson Grove and 89 Bluff Ave will be evaluated if these projects proceed concurrently, a likely scenario given their appearance on the August 7th agenda. I respectfully request the Commission to ensure that the proposed site-specific drainage and stormwater management plan for 28 Wilson Grove appropriately addresses how runoff will be contained and diverted away from neighboring properties during and after construction. Clarify what type of ground cover is proposed beneath the deck on the pier footings. Assess the combined drainage impacts of the 28 Wilson Grove and 89 Bluff Ave projects if construction occurs simultaneously, and implement required measures to minimize risk. Number 2, erosion and construction site management. Demolition and rebuilding, especially excavation, pose serious erosion risks due to the minimal buffer between our properties. Trenching, grading, or vibrations could cause soil erosion, sediment shift, or destabilize the ground, directly threatening the safety and stability of my home. The site plan dated June 26, 2025 does not clearly define the work limits. If those limits are intended to be property lines, there appears to be no safe space for overdigging on the left side of our boundary, especially with erosion control measures set in place. I urge the Commission to require enhanced erosion control measures beyond standard silt fencing, e.g. temporary retaining walls along a shared boundary, enforce clearly defined work limits to prevent encroachment onto neighboring properties, review a detailed demolition and construction logistics plan, including how the project will be managed given limited access from the front of the lot only, implement ongoing site monitoring during construction to ensure compliance and stability. If the Commission cannot ensure protection of my property and others, I request that a revised site plan be required that increases the separation between structures to reduce these risks. Number 3, wetland and coastal resource impacts. Both properties lie within a sensitive coastal flood zone. Any alteration of water flow, vegetation, or topography must be carefully reviewed for cumulative impacts on local storm resilience and environmental integrity. Number 4, additional considerations. The new structures at 25 and 23 Wilson Grove under construction, along with the existing abutting buildings at 29 and 21, will each be spaced about 10 feet apart. Most 25-foot wide lots in our neighborhood have a shotgun-style house, long and narrow with a side driveway. This allows for more separation between buildings and better protects adjacent properties. The proposed 2-story design 28 Wilson Grove, with only 35 to 48 inches of spacing from my home at many points, will make property maintenance extremely difficult for both homeowners. With a little clearance, especially near roof lines, safe access is unrealistic even with even with cooperation between homeowners. The proposed driveway appears to offer only 12.5 feet of usable space, 15 feet from house to inside edge of cobble apron, plus 1.5 feet of cobble apron and a 4-foot planting bed. Yet standard vehicles are 14 to 16 feet long. If cars are parked perpendicular to the house, they will protrude into the road. Wilson Grove Homeowners Association rules, July 2025 version, prohibits on-street parking due to the street's narrow width. Frequent vehicle encroachment onto the street could obstruct emergency access and inconvenience neighbors. While I understand that the proposed plan for 28 Wilson Grove advances certain compliance goals, it does so at significant and unacceptable risk to my property. Given the specific issues outlined above, I also respectfully request that the Commission conduct a site visit to fully observe the proximity of the structures and the serious constraints involved. Please include this letter in the public record for the August 7th hearing. Thank you for your time and your commitment to protecting the environmental and residential character of our community. Sincerely, Christina Wilworth. She also sent it to the ZBA. Okay, so, any other comments from commissioners? Seeing none. Tom, do you have any questions, comments? Anything else you'd like to say?
No, you know, there are some valid comments. I don't know that I don't know what, if anything, will change if we, you know, take time off, but if you want, need, you know, a continuance to review some of these documents anyway,
Okay.
we can do that. I'll request a continuance to.
Okay.
You send that letter to us and the owner.
You want, you take
I'll
this copy if you want.
I'll submit it all tomorrow.
Submit it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it first thing in the morning. That's not a problem.
And we'll take a look at the
right, so-
lifting the septic, the leaching up a foot to maintain the 5-foot separation
Okay.
from groundwater.
Do you need a list of all the comments, or are you good with
It'd be
everything?
good. I wrote some of these comments down, but, you know, it'd be good to have a list, you know, sent over with some,
I can do that. No problem.
put something together.
Yeah.
With all the
Okay.
comments.
I can do that.
Okay, great. How much time do you need for continuance?
Well, frankly, I think I would just want to start with 2 weeks to, you know, so you can look at the other documents that are in. Then we'll, you know, when I get with the owner and the architect and everyone, we'll see if possibly either they're going to make some changes or they're not.
Okay,
Right,
so
I
requesting continuance to August 21st?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion for continuance for 20 Wilson's Grove to August 21st?
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, well, the motion made and seconded. Do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy? Yes. And I vote yes. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish we could get the Wayback Machine and put lot size in Mashpee at the rate.
Okay. All right, okay, next item is a notice of intent for 5 Dean's Hollow Road, John and Beth Ann Lewis and Drolet. Proposed installation of innovative alternative IA septic system, represented Cape and Islands Engineering, Inc. DP number 433350, and they're requesting a continuance to September 4th.
Correct.
September 4th.
September 4th, yeah.
So this is collapsing, there's two on this.
I can
Right.
comment on that
Okay.
if you like. So I have talked to the representative for both of these projects, the same representative. So they are applying 2 notice of intents. The first one that we're voting on, that you'll be voting for a continuance on right now, is for a septic upgrade with an increase in flow. So in other words, they're going from 3 to 4 bedrooms. That's one notice of intent, and the second one that you'll vote on later in the night is for a full raise and replace of the entire property. That also includes a septic upgrade with increase in flow. The representative was adamant that these hearings be heard on the same night. So that was the reason for continuing both of them. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. So he's requesting a continuance because for the second one, there's been no DEP number issued yet for the raise and replace. But also there was some things they wanted to accommodate for. So just see if they could change it or see any possibilities. So that was the reason for that. But the biggest thing was they stated to me they wanted to ensure, I can't explain it, both the hearings were heard on the same night.
And they definitely want 2 separate hearings.
That was made clear to us months ago, yes.
Interesting. And so the raise and replace includes the upgrade in flow with the septic?
Yeah, correct. So it'll
Interesting.
have to be that increase in flow will be discussed at both of those hearings, I would imagine. So, yes.
And the increase in flow for a septic upgrade,
I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't want to deliberate without the representative here.
noted.
That's
We need to
that's all.
continue
I don't
this.
wanna-
Got
I don't
it.
wanna get into that. Yeah.
Got it.
Just
Okay.
Yeah, you should deliberate.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
We'll keep it going.
All right,
Problem.
so we need a motion
wanted
to
to make sure it
continue
wasn't chloroform.
5 Dean Hollow Road to September 4th.
So moved.
Second? Do we have a second? Okay, seconded by Rich, all right. With the motion made and second, roll call vote, Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next item is a notice of intent, 19 Uncle Henry's Road, Monica Miller, proposed addition to existing garage, remove and rebuild deck, installation of innovative alternative IA septic system, and mitigation plantings. Representative is Cape and Islands Engineering, DEP number is 433351, request to continue to August 21st. And I think they requested, just need more time.
They needed some extra time to review some extra stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't explain what, but if they want to review more, I think that's a good thing.
Okay, thank you, Dan. All right, do we have a motion to continue 19 Uncle Henry's Road to August 21st?
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, great. With a motion made and seconded, we do a roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next item, notice of intent, 101 Pompanesett Island Road, Lee and Ann Cornfield Wallace. Proposed installation of swimming pool and patio with mitigation plantings. Representative Wet Tech Land Design, Inc. And DP number 433353. All right. Good evening.
How's everybody tonight?
Good evening.
Another
Fine,
long night.
thanks.
This is Wayne Tavares. I'm from Wet Tech Land Design. I'm a professional wetland scientist and a landscape architect. My clients have asked me to put in a pool. I sort of wish they had done it last year, but nonetheless, this is the location of the pool. I appreciate those who have gone out to the site and taken a look. Unusual circumstance here. We're not changing any elements topographically and going through the 8 interests of the act. Every one of them is sort of covered under this plan. There's no topography changes. The wetland, or I should say the wildlife habitat, has been greatly improved, and it's improved thanks to your formula. So you have a formula that you've used before, you've enhanced that formula, and we've used it here for proper mitigation. It should be noted that distance from a wetland, although that's one of your criterias, in this particular case, doesn't make much difference as far as distance concerned. My client's house is the furthest from the Pompanesett Creek as any of the houses, and this is where the thought of putting in the swimming pool came from. So we've adjusted all this designed it so that all the interests of the act are involved. Certainly, pollution is not a problem. Here's saltwater pool. We've provided gutter drains to drain off surface water, recharge the groundwater, which is another interest of the act. And we have an drawdown pit that takes the drainage water while it's raining, and then in the case of a flood, of course, we can drain down the water. It's a shallow pool. It's only 4 feet deep. It'll have hydrostatic valves for pressure release, just in case of a flood. And it's sort of simply designed adjacent to a deck. I've been warned that the word compelling reason to do this is that to watch out for it in this particular case. So the 50-foot zone a year ago was the proper buffer for this area. This year it has been changed to the 75-foot buffer. So on this particular plan, I've shown buffers from 40 feet all the way up to 75. It's a typical pool. It's a little bit actually small. The entire area, including the patio, is 36 by 24. So it's a handsome aesthetic and useful item for this house. To evaluate it, I think, is to challenge your remediation, restoration formula. All of the area that we have used is seaward, or the water side of this pool. None of it is around the pool. It's an enhancement. It's a removal of some invasive species that you have. You have one nuisance species, or the owner has one nuisance species, namely poison ivy, that's growing like crazy underneath the pine trees that circle the grass area. We're eliminating approximately 2,500 square feet of lawn. So there's another enhancement there. We're reducing any nitrogen loading and reducing lawn area. Trying to justify this project, I don't feel too bad for it, but trying to get a feel through the beginning of this, I sense a little bit of a pushback. But I put before you a sensible project, a project where distance from is not an issue, except for a literal interpretation of feet and distance. The area is certainly compensating all of this, and it's all seaward. There's some invasive species like even the beach rose is being replaced. We have a copious list of plants. I think there's 7 varieties, 120 plants, an average spacing of about 4 feet, eliminating a lot of the lawn area and providing a good mitigation for this project. Again, there is no hay bales shown on this because it's level. It's distant from the wetland. We could easily put a siltation fence on here, but we're working on every square foot of this project in the sense of handwork where the plantings will be put in, and of course machine work where the pool would be placed. So that being said, everything is before you, mitigation table and the calculations, the mitigation planting area and the calculations, all the measurements of the pool are shown on this plan. Any comments, I'd be glad to address. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Wayne. Okay, comments from commissioners? Sarah?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Steve, hi, Wayne. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great.
Thank you for sticking with us. It's a
Yeah,
long night.
I know.
I had a couple of questions and comments, Wayne. I was able to make a site visit out to the home, and I know that we had some email correspondence just a few weeks ago regarding the staking and how the applicants had requested, because they're renting the house, to use spray paint instead of the flags. The spray paint used was like a dark blue on top of that shamrock green grass, and I found it very, very difficult to see it. And incidentally, I got there right around noontime and the sprinklers were on, so that was really fun adventure as well. But it was very difficult to assess the actual impact and what we're looking at here. And all I saw was the outline of the pool. I didn't see anything painted for the mitigation plantings or for the buffer zones or any of that. So it could have been that I just didn't see it, but the paint, I wanted to let you know that was very difficult to see.
Can I address that for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, I apologize for that. However, the mitigation area was painted differently, and you had sprinklers on, so I understand. But it was painted with a red paint or orange paint.
I see.
And they should have been easy to see. And then by coincidence, in discussion with the owners as a rental property, they thought that the stakes, I staked it originally.
Sure.
It was all staked.
I do remember. Yeah.
And then I sent pictures in, that's what I usually do. And the owner says that it's a liability. So I got there and I go, I have to observe the wishes of the owner. And just as I got there, the whole group that had rented the house was coming in with kayaks, which is ordinarily not a big deal, but all the kids were there. So now I understood the idea of the liability. So I painted and removed stakes, and the stakes are still there on the property. So if that's an issue, I'll discuss with the owner about putting them back, and I'm sorry about timing. That's it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Understood. And just for our purposes, it is a requirement to have the area staked for that reason. And just as a human outside of the commission, I have traveled and stayed in other people's homes where they've let me know that work is ongoing, and either they mark it with caution tape or they tell me I'm at my own risk if I trip and bust my head open because they're digging a pool or something. So the stakes would have been nice. I appreciate that we're removing lawn and putting some mitigation plantings in here. I do think that all of the work, as you mentioned, is within the 75-foot buffer to the water and the BVW. So I do have some concerns about introducing impervious surfaces and learning that it's a saltwater pool. I wonder we're like 50 feet from the saltwater. I could just go swim in the salt water. So compelling need, I think, is questionable. And as we've discussed earlier in the night, again, I don't want to belabor a point, but I do see that we've got a one-sentence waiver here. And I did hear you speak to some of the elements of the waiver tonight, so I do want to acknowledge that. The only question that I had from what I see is really just to confirm that the gutter drain here is not for the pool water. That would be drained and taken off-site. That's not going to be discharged.
Right.
Correct.
Every town has its own rules, but
Yeah.
really, I defer to DEP. Groundwater recharge is what we're after.
Okay.
We're losing the area because we're covering the area 36 by 24. So we have to take that drainage somewhere. And every time you do a pool, they'll have gutter drains around it or whatever. And that's what we've done here. So we've provided for that to recharge and try to take away that interest of the act as being a problem. So it would go into the same pit that the drawdown would go down
Sure.
into.
And the pool water does not go into the groundwater?
No,
Okay.
this is
That's
just
what I was asking.
rainwater, and it's
Okay.
just off the patio. That's it, not the pool.
Got it. Thank you very much, Wayne. Those are all my questions.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, Sarah. Paul?
Yeah.
I'm going to pass for now, but
Okay.
I'll come back.
All right, Rich?
Is the patio around the pool pervious material as well?
We can do pervious material, yes. That's the request, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else, Rich?
No, that's it.
Okay, Shauna?
I think we've hit it, other than, to Sarah's point, I have a dislike of pools this close to the ocean, though I do know Papaneset, all the creeks and waterways in the bay are unswimmable at this point in time, but
Okay. Sandy?
No, same comments. I'm struggling with the pool. I know that the mitigation would be great. I'd like to see that on its own without the pool. But
Okay, thanks. Wayne, I got a few questions. So, you said that in your waiver request that the pool, patio and pool simply isolates all human activity to a concentrated area. Is that the reason for the waiver request?
That's it, basically, yes. We're concentrating it here. They found that some of the renters and themselves, when they use the property, they're looking for some ease of use. They have a dock, yes, I can't argue that point. But they are the furthest from the water of anybody that's on Popponesset Island Road. So it would concentrate it. It also has a fence around it. That's part of this deal. And it concentrates everything on the inside rather than going out. In that particular case that I just mentioned, the renters did use the dock and they did use the kayaks, which were placed right about where it says 1820.9 square feet. That's where they are. They'd obviously have to be relocated. But yeah, we're trying to concentrate this down below so that it's an ease for everybody and less use. But the big thing here is the mitigation planting. This works nicely. I did one mitigation planting list and found that you had changed it when you changed from 50 feet to 75. You also enhanced the mitigation formula. So I went back and did that formula and increased the mitigation as well. Removing lawn, distance from is not as much of a problem as distance above floodplain. This whole area, all of Popponesset Island Road, practically is in a floodplain. So that being said, the interests of the act are being served, and I think that's the point. Getting past the new bylaw of 50 to 75, I have to turn it over to you.
Okay. So you couldn't locate this pool outside the 75-foot because there's plenty of space in between the 75 and 100-foot buffer and the building setback line?
Limit, there might be. We haven't challenged that yet.
Okay, so, all right. What's the groundwater level here?
Groundwater level is at,
Did you do a test pit out there?
we didn't do a test pit, no, but I'm trying to think of because I've done this out there before. It's usually 1/2 foot above what mean low water is, mean high water, excuse me. So we're at 1 for elevation. Mean high water is elevation 1, so it'd probably be at about 1.5 feet.
Okay. So you have elevation 5 going through the pool, and you said you have 4-foot deep pool. Is that 4 foot from the top of the pool to the bottom of the?
We put egg-
Is that the inside or is the outside of the pool?
Well, that would be the inside. Wading depth is usually 3.5 feet, and you got a 6-inch.
So the total height of the pool structure is 4 feet from the top of the pool to the bottom?
Yes.
That sits on the soil?
I'm going to check into that, but that's about right.
Okay, so at 1.5 and 5.5, so 4, you're within 6 inches of
We're pretty close to
water level. Okay, that's an issue, okay. And then,
Thanks for bringing that up. That's what I was talking about. That's
So-
as important as distance from.
right. And then the issue, because you're so close, how is that pool gonna be held down without, popping up out of the ground during a flood event or
Well,
high groundwater, because the groundwater levels change over time,
we use hydrostatic valves, and they release the pressure. They were really founded in Florida because they pushed all those pools out of the ground in Florida. So we use concrete, number one, and the hydrostatic valves allows the pressure when it gets underneath to release into the pool. The pool becomes useless, it gets dirty, and then you have to pump it out and start over again. But as for an unusual flood, and the people that are out there now, there's probably 1/3 of their neighbors have these pools, and we haven't noticed a lot of, how should you say, there's certainly no pools popping out of the ground.
Okay.
It's just a mixture of the water that comes in on a particularly high tide, very high tide. Actually, it has to be a storm surge that comes in to do that.
Okay. And then, there's no erosion control. I know you said it's pretty flat out there, but probably want to see some erosion control at least
Be
there.
glad
so.
to put it in, yes.
So those are my comments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Paul, come back to you.
I'll be honest, I'm struggling with a proposal for a pool and a patio that's close to 98% in the 75-foot buffer. I know there's a request for a waiver. I listened carefully to the rationale. I looked very carefully at the mitigation. I'm also looking at the town GIS layers, and the velocity zone is about 30 feet off of the boundary of this property. So in the event of a flood, this is an area that's going to be fairly hard hit. It's not like we're, 1,000 feet in on a floodplain somewhere. This is not in the velocity, but it's awful close. And I'm finding it very difficult to support a swimming pool on a patio in a floodplain that close to a velocity zone, based on everything I've heard.
Okay, thank you. Any comment from audience? Seeing none, we'll go to Dan and Drew. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll try to be brief because I know you guys are trying to keep the hearings to 15 minutes plus or minus. But I agree, when it comes to a waiver request, there should be, there is, and staff can help out with this with future applications, to send, the waiver section document, which has the chart, it has the criteria, and it should certainly be more than one sentence to request a waiver. And obviously, items like pools and patios and decks and garages, it's very difficult to present a compelling need. So that's why in the language of the waiver, it encourages the balancing of these criteria and not just one over the other. So if they can show that mitigation truly, compensates for any disturbances and, addresses the performance standards for flood zone, which is in this case compensatory storage. Those are the things that should be given, weight accordingly. So it's not just one criteria, it's multiple. But other than that, no other comments. Thank you.
Dan?
No, I don't have any other comments other than what Drew said for the waiver. The only thing when I evaluate projects like this, the number one thing that was already brought up by Chairman Cook as well as Commissioner Colombo is the elevation it's at, the flood zone concerns as well. Obviously, it's not in the velocity, but it's very close to the velocity zone, so that can be a concern. But as Chairman Cook said, the elevation of the pool compared to the groundwater, I didn't know if that was something that could be considered, reconsidered, but it sounds like you have that in accommodation with the, did you say, not buoyancy valves?
Hydrostatic valves.
Hydrostatic valve, it sounds like you do, but that is always a concern for me when it comes to anything, not just swimming pools. You heard it with septics tonight as well. So that is a concern that the commission, I think, is already taken into consideration. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other comments, Wayne? You're all set?
No, I just want to make sure that that we understand that FEMA does a good job with those maps and the velocity zone. While it does scour, is not involved in this project. This is still water flooding that's in this project. And the owner, I know, would consider anything that would appeal to this board, and we think we've done the job. We certainly have. I guess I'm going to leave it in your hands with regard to that. That
Okay.
we've done the proper mitigation, that this is a good project.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there are no more comments from the commissioners, see if there's be a motion for a notice of intent filing for 101 Pompanesett Island Road. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to close an issue at 101 Pompanesett Island Road.
Okay, do we have a second?
For the purposes of discussion only, I will second the motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we have a motion and a second for discussion. Okay. Commissioner, discussion on this motion.
I'll start the discussion. I was intrigued by the hydrostatic valves that you described. And I'm trying to envision in a storm surge event, how much of, and I know it's a difficult question to answer, but how much relief would those valves feed up into the pool? And then correspondingly, the pool typically is filled. So where is the storage capability in the pool to hold on to all that dirty water that's coming up through to stop the pool from coming out of the ground?
It works, I can tell you that. There's calculations. This is beyond me, but the pool people will come up with a certain hydrostatic valve size at a certain distance apart in order to pass sufficient water through to release the pressure that goes.
Okay.
It enters slowly. Let's, look at the depth. Here's the top of the pool, here's the bottom of the pool. As it enters, there's side hydrostatic valves and there's bottom hydrostatic valves. And it comes into the pool, puts pressure, it releases it outside the pool and it spills over. Spills into these gutters, takes it into the pit. And the pit itself would fill as well as groundwater fills. But we haven't had a flood out in this area that I know of for a long time, the type of flood that you talk about. I built out there, I hate to tell you how long ago, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I did a lot of work out in that area, and I have never seen a flood of any magnitude that has come through in order to push a pool out of the ground. I've just recently worked on one where the ZBA was concerned about the pool overturning, and we had to do special engineering to provide that. In this particular case, this relief does work. And it's worked in Florida where it's worse than it is here.
Excuse me, Wayne. Mr. Chairman, I've heard enough for my,
Okay,
sorry.
okay, thank you. Sarah?
In considering everything that has been shared tonight by the applicant, by the staff, other commissioners, I'm having a very difficult time reasonably accepting a compelling need for a pool that's essentially in the groundwater within 75 feet of a wetland. The mitigation planting that's being proposed to offset this is already a vegetated area, so we're not removing impervious surfaces. We've got semi-pervious lawn, which, I would have a very difficult time supporting a permit for this project as presented
Okay.
this evening.
Thank you. Rich, any comments?
No comments.
Okay. Shauna?
I kind of like your thought of if you were to shift the pool, I guess, to the left, looking at it this way, you could get it significantly out of more into farther away from the buffer zone. Aesthetically, it probably looks perfect here because you go right down the deck, but if you do go to the left, you're getting closer and closer into the 75-foot buffer zone, and it would improve it. I still don't think it would be perfect, but.
Okay. Sandy?
No fun.
Okay, great. I have no additional comments either. Okay, so.
Hearing these comments.
Well, no, we're just,
Okay.
okay, we're just comments. So, hearing everything, we have a motion and a second made. Based on the comments, Wayne, would you want a continuance or would you want us to vote on it? You previously said you would want us to proceed with a vote.
We'll have to, just point of clarity, we will have to vote on this motion no
Right.
matter what.
Right,
Just
correct, yeah. Right.
I'm sorry, what was that? You have
So-
to
The
vote?
motion was already made, so no matter what, we still have to vote on it to close it out.
Right,
It doesn't matter if it passes or if it doesn't, we still have to vote on it. So I would recommend keeping in mind if you do want a continuance, but please don't state it till after the motion's closed out. That's all. So you can still discuss with the chair your thoughts on it, but I wouldn't recommend officially stating it till we close out the motion.
So is it up to me? Is that what you're saying right now?
The continuance is 100% up to you, but the motion has to be closed out.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just procedure. That's all. It's just
Right.
procedural.
Can I poll the members as to their vote?
We have to vote.
Well,
We
that-
have to
Yeah,
vote.
vote.
That'd be up to the chair. I would not recommend
No,
that.
no.
That's all.
No.
Mr. Chairman, hitting on a fence, then I'm wondering which side I'm gonna fall off on. You've seen the project. Next time around would be an improvement. We've heard all the bones of contention. Could I get a continuance? Can I obtain it after this vote?
Yeah. And again, even if the vote is shot down, it's not a denial. The motion was just shot down. That's all. They would have to make another motion if it went that route, or if they wanted to make another motion to approve. So yes, after the vote's conducted, then I would recommend making the request for the continuance.
Thank you for
Yeah.
your,
Okay.
thanks for that.
And please bear with me, I'm a new chairman, so I'm gonna learn a lot of this stuff. Okay, all right, so we have a motion and a second made for discussion, right?
Right.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote on, this motion is just for discussion, I believe.
This motion was for a closing issue.
Yep.
Closing issue.
This was a closing issue motion.
My second was just for discussion.
Yep, the
Oh,
second was
second
just for
was-
discussion,
okay.
but the motion itself was for a closing issue with no conditions,
Okay,
so.
okay. So seeing motion second, we have roll call vote. Sarah?
No.
Paul?
No.
Rich? Sandy?
No.
Okay, and I vote no also.
Okay.
Unanimous vote there, so.
So now's your opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a continuance.
Would you like to go on August 21st, or September 4th? Or further out, it's up to you.
Well, I've got one the 3rd, let's make it the 4th.
Alrighty then, so September 4th it is, they'll still have to vote on the continuance, so.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, so the applicant's requesting a continuance to September 4th. Do we have a motion for that? Do
So moved?
we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion made, seconded. Roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Just one moment, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Do you want to give the applicant just a final list of what you expect when they come back?
Thank you, Drew.
Sure.
Okay. All right, list right now, we talked about,
Alternative locations for the pool.
yeah. And we had,
Revised waiver.
yeah,
Yes, complete waiver.
Pervious surfaces.
Yes, so is the
Yeah.
revised waiver, the pervious pavers around the pool was another one. Options or a possibility for relocating the pool out of the 75-foot buffer, or the most possible that could be. That's an option.
erosion
And,
control.
I'm sorry, yes, and limit of work as well. So I would also ensure the limit of work encompasses, I see it as a fence installation, some mitigation, so not just the pool area for the limit of work is what I'm saying. I think that was
And
it.
I would recommend just for the limit of work that it not be a silt fence, use straw wattles staked in.
Got it. Did you say straw wattles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Maybe a test pit, depth to groundwater, so we can confirm
Yeah,
that.
and a test pit to see where groundwater
Groundwater
is.
test.
Yeah,
Please.
Or you would take scientific evidence from other tests that have been out there?
Recent tests.
Recent.
I would say the past 3 years, is that acceptable?
Okay.
You know, something like that, yeah.
has to be adjacent properties, I would say.
Oh, yeah, 100% within the very
Yeah, very, very.
immediate vicinity. But the past 3 years, I think, should be
Sure,
acceptable.
and particularly at that elevation.
Correct,
close to that
correct,
elevation.
yeah. Okay. All right, so we had a motion made and seconded.
second.
Right, and the list's all set. Okay, roll call vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes, too.
Okay.
We will see you on the 4th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next item is notice intent filing 55 Redwood Circle. Edward and Rudite Pilpel, proposed addition to existing dwelling, remove septic system, replace with Title V IA system, rebuild retaining wall and mitigation plantings. Representative is BSS Design Inc., DP number 433352.
Thank you. The record, my name is Tom Bunker with BSS Design. And I think I'll start out by saying, this is an NHESP habitat. We had to file with, send them a copy of the notice to NHESP for their comments. We haven't received comment back. Sometimes they don't want to open the hearing without comments back from Natural Heritage. It'd be better if we could start some discussion about it to get feedback. But,
Okay.
good. There will have to be a continuance anyway for that, and also for the nitrogen loading calculations. I think I blacked out when I was, filing some of these things. This property is in Natural Heritage, endangered species priority habitat number 280. It's within the riverfront area. Most of the houses within 100 feet of the Mashpee River. All of the lot in the house is within the 200 feet riverfront area of the Mashpee River. So within, there's a wetland along the river, and within 150 feet, much of it's within 75 feet. Half the house is within 75 feet of that wetland. All of the houses within 150 feet of that wetland. Then there's also the pond, where it's the house is within, some of the houses within 75 feet from the pond, all of the houses within 150 feet from the pond. The septic system is old, antiquated. It is proposed to be replaced further from, particularly under the driveway, further from the wetlands, more than 100 feet from the wetlands. We're proposing an addition to go in the corner of the house, what would it be, closest to the Redwood Circle. In that corner there, just like a music room, not a bedroom. There are no bedrooms being added to this property. I might add that Angela can by Zoom. Yeah. She's on there, okay. So she'll let me say my thing first, and she did all the wonderful planting out there. As we've seen on our proposed plan, we have this proposed addition, as I said, is not a bedroom. There's no bedrooms being added to it. But the septic system is being upgraded and moving further from the river, and get some more separation there, and an IA system to reduce the nitrate loading. I can say that with the IA system and no increase in the bedroom count, that the concentration will go down. I don't have those numbers. In addition to that addition, there's some change to the decks. See, there's a deck along the north property line that's only 2 feet from the property line, so that's going to be cut back. So they cut back 8 feet from there, and some of that deck will be moving, proposed to be moving, closer to the pond, as close as 50 feet from the pond. The waiver, I suppose I might have to add some more language to that waiver request. But that's, there is substantial work within the 75 feet of that. It's not coming along the riverside, it's not coming with less than the 50 feet. It's not, the deck is not coming closer to the river than the existing house is. It's not coming closer to the river than the bottom of the steps are sort of one benchmark there for how close it is. So it's, but it is causing, creating coverage within 75 feet. As part of this, we feel that the benefits, there is quite a bit. We have the greater than 2-to-1 mitigation planting along the riverfront, 810 square feet. That's more than double the increase. But on top of that, there is, of course, the denitrifying septic system we're putting in. But also, I don't show all of this good planting on my plan, but on the Crawford Land Management Plan, they have, if you've been to the site, it's very poor vegetation quality there. And so what's coming out of that is the plan here that Crawford Land Management has done with a lot, in addition to the 800 and some square feet of mitigation planting. It's Angela can do more, but I believe it's a mainly predominantly native species plant schedule that's going there. And I don't think she has the area of that. Maybe Angela knows the area of that planting that's proposed, which will, in my opinion, quite offset the additional coverage is, as I said, in very poor, it's very poor vegetative cover. There's actually no native plants, except possibly some junipers. But the amount of native vegetation that's coming back here, I think is substantial. So maybe if Angela could come up and I don't know if she knows the number offhand of how many square feet are being planted, but can.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I don't have to suffer up here. You can talk about all the good stuff there, anyway.
Okay. So I'm Angela Tanner from Crawford Land Management. We prepared the planting plan for the mitigation area as well as the areas around the house that we expect will be disturbed during the construction process. And also, the clients just really like native plants and they wanted to incorporate more understory there. There's actually a overstory of native trees, beech, maple, and oak, but the understory really, there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of biodiversity. So what we were hoping to do was provide that and give them more seasonal interest in wildlife habitat. So the proposed mitigation planting area is along the river, and we have 6 different types of shrubs that are planned along there that are colonizing shrubs that will do a better job of holding that bank together. And then we also plan to supplement that with some erosion control seeding and wildflowers. And then for the areas that will be disturbed by construction, we are also proposing to seed that with erosion control grasses. And then we haven't designated exact quantities of each species, but we were hoping to give the client a nice palette of native plants to work with. So we provided a plant list showing the different species that we are recommending, both shrubs as well as spreading ground covers that can help hold that slope, because it is a steep slope in some locations. They would like to have that
be more green instead of, it's kind of bare in places where it is now. And there are a couple existing native shrubs. We've accounted for that in the square footage. We still have 810 square feet. There is an error on our plan on the legend. It's an old number from an old version of this plan. Our actual mitigation area matches Tom's 810 square feet, but we accounted for some existing shrubs that will remain in there, which are clothyra and alder shrubs. And then there's just one kind of unhealthy looking yew that we would like to remove by the fence. And I think that pretty much sums up our strategy for the planting.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, so there are, as she said, there are a number of the beech, maple, oak, pine trees there, a number of native trees. None of them, there's basically no native plants. There's some ornamental plants up where the addition is going, and then I see there are native shrubs going around the addition. I think they're PAs. Is that native going there, Angela? And it's just,
I'm sorry, I missed
around the proposed addition, PAs.
Oh, that's just planting area.
Oh,
It
just
means
planting area, okay, yeah.
That we were assuming that that might be, I didn't mention that. We were assuming that that might be a little bit more of an ornamental area, that it didn't have to be native, but like I said, the clients, the homeowners really like native plants. So we just haven't developed a final plan for those areas. We thought that we would be able to get a plan list approved and then be able to finalize something with the clients at a later date.
Okay.
The decks and steps are in, especially the steps down at the lower level, are in very poor condition. Of course, they would want to enjoy the view of the pond a little more than from the side deck. But I think they are giving, the environment is getting a lot of, as Angela mentioned, understory planting. That part is a big improvement in the vegetative cover on the property.
Okay.
And, you know, in exchange, we're doubling the amount of addition for the mitigation planting itself, and then all of this other native planting is larger than the mitigation planting. So it's a lot going on here, a lot being proposed, and the the septic system is a IA system also. So
Okay.
that's we'll take your comments now.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, Commissioner comments, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. Hello again. Good evening. Yeah, I do have just a couple of questions, but before I do, I don't see that we received nitrogen calculations.
Oh, yeah, I had mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I was digesting everything else. And I also...
Concentration went down, I know.
Right,
but-
we've been here all night. No, of course. And also the waiver, saying that we're requesting a waiver from, like a blanket waiver from all regulations and our performance standards, and that it applies to work now and to be described later, just so we're clear. Correct, okay. We're going to need a little more information than that. A little bit of clarification on the NESHAP filing. So when you filed with Natural Heritage, was the request for project review or was the request for exemption?
It was actually a request for exemption.
Okay, so what we're waiting for back is not their recommendations on the project, it's whether or not the project is exempt.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. I would be very uncomfortable rendering any decision, especially on the deck, without hearing from Natural Heritage on the actual application, regardless of whether you're exempt or not. This is a precious area on the pond and on the river. And I just wanted to confirm, and again, forgive me, it's getting late. I think my brain's not working as well. Yeah, the planting plan, we've got new mitigation plantings, and are those 1,166 square feet, or is it the 810?
The mitigation is 810.
Okay.
Yes, there's an error on our plan.
Got it, okay.
That was an old calculation, so we'll have to fix that.
Perfect.
before
And
next hearing.
so the repair and the erosion control plantings, those are not being proposed to be included as mitigations, those would be,
Those would be additional in
Additional.
order to just restore well, first of all, they wanted to plant things there anyway because
Okay.
there are a lot of bare areas on the slope. But second of all, that area is going to get torn up and some of it regraded with the deck. And so we wanted to have some kind of plant list in place so you could see what we're planning on putting back. And
Okay.
I forgot to mention that area is 2,300 square feet.
okay,
That's not necessarily, I don't know that they need to disturb all 2,300 square feet. We were trying to be conservative in showing the area that might get replanted. But for sure, we will be repairing the areas that are disturbed and fixing bare soils.
wonderful. Okay, thank you. That's, and you know, I see there, I just, again, want to confirm, there are 3 requests in the project. One is adding a room to the house.
Yes.
The second is taking out this old septic system, which we don't have numbers in front of us for, but presumably it's awful and needs to come out as soon as possible. And then the third is expanding a deck so it faces the pond, right? Okay. I wish we were able to separate these and do the septic now and then keep talking about the other 2, but with that, that's all I've got.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Paul?
Yeah, I'm looking at Regulation 33, and there's a note in Regulation 33 that refers to 5,000 square feet or 10% of the riverfront area within the lot, whichever is greater, of allowable alteration shall be located as far from the river as feasible without seeking zoning variances. Are there any variance requests with zoning board for this project?
No, it's, I think,
So you're all
special
legit?
permit. It's going to the Board of Appeals.
Right.
It's, it doesn't conform to, at least on the sidelines, current setback requirements, but there are no variance requests.
So you're going to be asking the zoning board of appeals for relief because it doesn't comply with the requirements? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the variance is when you're coming closer to, and that's not happening. It's not coming closer to, it's not coming within any setback requirement. It's already on the one side, non-conforming. The north side, the deck, that's being pulled away, but it is still non-conforming. That's not a variance, that's a special permit.
And what is the total square foot disturbance to the lot?
Well, I think it wouldn't be as much as what is shown in green here, because it can't be, the soil can't be disturbed around all those beech trees because the roots are near the surface, but the total disturbance, I don't know if it was in one of the, if it was in the NOI form or not, but I don't have
Right.
off the top of my head.
Well, it's something that, I mean, we are going to be continued, I assume.
Yes.
But that's something I don't want to spend my time calculating the total square footage disturbance of the lot, but I want to make sure that you're in compliance with Regulation 33, Section D.
I will check that.
You all set,
All
Paul?
for now. Yep.
Okay, Rich, anything?
No questions.
Shauna?
My question, which might be in slightly, I mean, the slope on the back and then the retaining wall to the side, when we start to, like, this bank is so steep. It's just kind of, how do you hold it all together? And I really loved, like, the mitigation, the plantings going in to shore up afterwards, but I just kind of would like to hear, like, when you're kind of taking it apart before you put it all back together, and it's going to be, it sounds like it's going to be much healthier once it gets put back together, but I think there is this sliver of opportunity that everything doesn't slide down into the pond or slide off the side of the house when stuff gets,
So are you asking for like a construction protocol?
I guess that's what I'm asking
Okay.
for in a very roundabout,
I just wanted to
unscientific
make sure.
method.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of my questions, is
Yeah.
erosion control.
You know,
I'm
they
just- I
took,
mean,
that, you know,
that's- Seen any erosion control on the plan, Tom?
I think I had, well, I called out limit of work, which would be a silt fence, but I guess
Yeah, probably one.
that is not adequate.
Yeah, I'd do straw wattles would be my recommendation. I think Drew and Dan probably agree with that.
Yeah, they could be, movable. I mean, some of this area, there's these timber retaining walls that are rotting, and so some of that's just gonna be taken out. So what's supported in those timber retaining walls will be trying to go back into more of a natural slope, take that rotting wood out and then slope it down.
Can you provide that in construction protocols, like how you're accessing the property with whatever machine, stabilization, saying like, the construction's gonna happen, we'll stabilize everything, then plantings, or vice versa, however you wanna go about it.
Yeah, and erosion control.
And erosion control, incorporating that as well. And just so you know, for erosion control, we've had some issues around town with some projects, only having a silt fence and completely failing, and waterways getting siltation in them directly. So we have been requesting and quite frankly requiring erosion control in the form of core log or hay bale or something like that.
Straw wattle.
The straw wattle, there we go. And siltation fence, but we have absolutely been wanting the straw wattles over anything. So,
Okay.
just going forward, so you're aware.
Any questions, Sandy?
No, I was questioning about, I had read at one point that you were going to replace the timber retaining wall with a block retaining wall, concrete block. I thought I read that somewhere. I had it in my notes.
There's, in one
That's on
place,
the
no,
plan.
by the addition, digging out the addition is so close to, there's an existing
retaining wall
Okay.
wood retaining wall there. It's,
around the corner there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I really have a photo of it. Go to the plan.
but it was.
Yeah, right down the lower
Yeah,
left.
Bottom
yeah.
By the addition, that retaining wall there,
Yeah.
because that's gonna get further damaged by the construction, so that wall, that will be a poured concrete wall, at the same time as when they do the addition and then backfill around it. But the retaining walls under and around the existing and proposed deck,
Okay.
all those timbers are rotting also. So that will just be sculpted down to, and also uphill above the shed, there's that weird brick circle kind of thing, and then a steep slope down from it. That might be pulled back a little bit and made less steep in there. Yeah, we're trying to make some of these, smooth out some of the steep parts before planting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, any other comments from you or Drew?
Yeah, I can start. So I just want to reverberate what Commissioner Colombo said about the 5,000 square feet or the 10%. This is riverfront, so that does need to apply here. And then one thing that has been brought up, I know there was a talk about, you mentioned the beech trees not having disturbance because the roots do grow out of the ground a good amount. When I was on site, there was some beech trees of extreme concern. In particular, the one that's right here, next to the deck, it's completely dead. If not almost on its way out.
I had seen it, I mean, in the past, I thought it'd have cankers on it and stuff, it looked like it.
Yeah, when I went there, I was there today, I think there was 3 leaves on the top. No joke. The reason I say that is because if they're gonna be doing construction, they might want to evaluate some of these beech trees. We've been having, this week alone, we've had a lot of issues. One fell on a house, one fell on a guy's deck his access stairs, things like that. And they were all the size of these trees. So the largest beech trees we've been noticing are taking the full brunt of the disease. And now they're showing their dead wood falling. So if I was a homeowner, I wouldn't want to have that risk with my brand new deck if it does get approved. So I would recommend checking that as well as the one here. This one is way over here on the side. I would recommend having someone, I'm not saying an arborist, but just check these beech trees out, and if they do warrant removal, include it in the application. I would highly recommend that. So especially for this area, because some of them, as you know, are on the bank. So if they do go, we want to make sure there's a stump that stays and things of that nature. But the commission's going to want to know what's staying and what's going. And on the plan of record, I do see quite the amount of beech trees noted. So, all right, that's a beech. I'm sorry. Where was it? Right here, beech trees
There's
noted.
another
Yeah. Look
That's
at
the actual beach.
Yeah,
beech is-
that's the actual beech. But you have a lot of beech trees, 25-inch.
Yeah, there are a
20
lot,
inch.
yes.
So there are large ones. If they do warrant removal, please add them to the plan.
Frankly, if some of them are removed, it would make the understory grow better.
It would make the understory grow better, and that was gonna be my other comment, just make sure if some of them are removed, you're not gonna have some understory getting burned out from too much sun. That's all. These beech trees do have a large canopy, as you know, so they
Right.
can be effective, they can be.
So what did you say about the stumps? You'd want them?
If they're on the bank going down like here where it's
Leave 'em.
we recommend having a 6-inch stump left because of stability on the bank. Now, if you want to recommend or proceed with discussing with the commission on full removal, I'm not saying stump grinding, but flush cutting it and then replanting everything around it, that's a discussion you can have with the commission. Our protocols for anything on an inland or a coastal bank has been 6-inch stump remains, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So, but
I don't think that you would even see it once the plants are there and it.
Exactly.
And it does provide benefits to the whole, system.
We've encountered
I
this.
don't- Yeah.
So as Angela was saying, usually after one growing season, half a growing season, you don't even see it, the stump. So, those are my comments on this, the 5,000 square foot or 10%, as well as just a rough assessment and look at the beech trees on property.
I did look at as far as that, I had one note in there, I think it was about, is that section, regulation 33 about that's the riverfront area.
That's the
But is
riverfront.
that about disturbance or what's?
The regulation
Think about
33.
what structures and paving and,
I want to say it was disturbance, but I'm not going to quote that off the top of my head.
It's alterations.
There we go.
The regulation uses the word quote-unquote alterations, which means every type of disturbance on the lot, whether it's a driveway or a structure or anything in between, including landscaped areas, that's also considered alterations. So anything that falls under the category of alterations. When it
But
comes
if
to
it's an existing planting area that is still going to be a planting area, it's just.
then I would think it would be a
disturbance
wash.
that- Yeah.
I think it would be a wash in that instance. But yeah, it is alteration. It's not just relegated to house structure. Under the Wetlands Protection Act and Regulation 33, which has some mirroring standards to the state act, but there are some additional standards under Reg 33 under the bylaw as well. So just to reference that, just to make sure everything is, jives with the standards of that regulation under the bylaw. And then I know we're still expecting a letter from National Heritage, and then more time for the commission to read up on, or maybe, if there's a chance to modify the waiver requests and the nitrogen loading calculations. And I think that covers everything that the commission is expecting moving forward.
Okay, yeah, the other comment, going back to the trees, I think there's some other pines or something over near where the proposed deck is too, so if any of those trees can be removed, then
yeah.
please
good.
note that too, so.
Get it all done at one time, if
Yeah.
they need taking out.
Yeah, if they're unhealthy or the beech tree issue.
Yeah, I know, we had looked at that beech tree there specifically back earlier in the year.
It looked
Yeah.
gnarly. It looked
We
gnarly.
had originally thought that it was easier to take them down later than to put them back, so we were hesitant to put them as removals, and, but if they are dead or.
I wouldn't, so with beech trees, the way we're doing it, I would recommend including it on this because you will just have to come back as an RDA to the commission. And it's just, if you can do it all at once, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so no other comments from commissioners? Anybody in the audience? Okay, so Tom, you had mentioned that you were looking for a continuance
Well,
because of
yeah,
these,
I
all
know.
these items.
Well, with some of this other construction protocol, Angela, how much time do you, because we have to hear back from Natural Heritage, for one.
Yeah,
Get the calculations, fluff up, strengthen the request for a waiver, and look at some other things. It sounds like it's, Angela, it sounds like it's more than a 2-week.
Yes, absolutely, and my schedule is really, I'm not going to be super available for the next few weeks.
You're in
So
Michigan still?
You got September 4th or September 18th, or you can go further out. It's up to you.
Should we do the 4th, and if we can't make it, then just get another shorter continuance? Or is the 4th too soon for you, Angela?
It depends on what my scope is going to be, because are you doing the construction protocol? Or is that something you wanted us to do? I was assuming you would do the,
I think I could do that with some consulting with you.
okay, because there's not a lot of changes that we would need to make to our plan, so I think it would be fine.
September 4.
10-4, and if you need a continuance coming up to that date, just let us know.
Okay, excellent. Okay, do we have a motion for a continuance for 55 Redwood Circle to September 4th?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, well, the motion made second, we'll do a roll call vote. Any other discussion before we do the vote? Seeing none, okay, Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Great, thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thank you.
And you're up next.
Thanks. Okay, moving along, next item, notice of intent filing 89 Bluff Ave, John and Kirsten DeSanto, proposed raise of existing dwelling, construct and maintain new single-family dwelling with IA septic system, upgrade and mitigation plantings. Representatives, BSS Design, Inc., DP number 433355.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Tom Bunker with BSS Design. I'm a land surveyor. With me here today on my right hand,
Andrew Garrelay, registered landscape architect, Yarmouth Port Design Group.
so we heard this project referenced earlier in the night. So you know, it's another raise and rebuild. It's in flood zone AE elevation 13, just the same as the one on Wilson's Grove. The house will be taken out, rebuilt, and the floor of this proposed house will be at the same elevation as the floor at the in Wilson's Grove. And it did get filed with Board of Appeals. I have that.
Yes. Yeah, we got that last minute.
You sent that to me, so. No, Chris did. Yeah, we just got that filed today with the Board of Appeals. And so, this is a larger lot than the Wilson's Grove. Still, though, is non-conforming to the zoning setbacks on the two sides, and having a basement is non-conforming to flood zone regulations, and the septic system isn't too bad, but it also is it's I'm sure too low and too close to the groundwater, since the ground there is only elevation 7, almost, or 8. So we're taking that out. In this case, putting the house back with a retaining wall around the rear of the lot. The retaining wall starts on the sides toward the rear of the house, and then it builds up, and that's mainly to enclose the septic system, which in this case has a separation from groundwater of 5.7. And I don't have nitrogen loading calculations, but again, it's a reduction because we're not increasing the number of bedrooms, and not increasing the number of bedrooms, the amount of lawn is being reduced, and it's having an IA system. But I'll get those calculations to you soon. So it's the size of the house is increasing by 300 square feet. And the coverage is increasing, well, by the same amount. Existing, if we're talking about the whether we're in the flood zone or not. So the existing is 1,600 and increasing to 1,900 square feet. So counting just the lot area, the total lot area the way it is, it's 21.1% increasing to 24.9%. And within the flood zone, since it's all in flood zone, then it's just considered 100% coverage. So as mentioned, the septic system is going in the backyard, raised above. There's an arborvitae hedge, non-native arborvitae hedge across the back, which is being removed, and to make way partly for the retaining wall that will hold it in, will hold up the septic system. And there's mitigation going along both sides.
Just this
Mitigation
little
because of
round, right?
the increase in size of, increase in coverage, and the naturally vegetated buffer strip requirement. And perhaps Andrew can talk about that mitigation planting plan.
Just the landscape plan would be fine.
Yes, the mitigation calculations came up to a requirement of 41 square feet, and we proposed 757 square feet. And like Tom said, it's on the two sides of the property where we could fit it in. Includes sweet fern, bush cinquefoil, sweet pepper bush, winterberry, and juneberry, for a little bit of variance in the strata. Driveway is a gravel driveway, pervious of course. And as Tom mentioned, the retaining wall is holding up the septic system, which allows us to have a gravity-fed septic tank, and keeping the SAS well above the groundwater, more so than what's currently required. And what else to really add on that? We've got stepping stones. Everything was included in the mitigation calculations, including the air conditioning units and stepping stones. Everything, any kind of coverage at all was included in the mitigation calculations.
You know, the previous, or on the Wilson's Grove here, you asked how close is it to the velocity zone? So on this one, I can tell you because it's a small corner of the lot is in the velocity zone. That this house is somewhat closer to the beach, so it's within 150 feet of some, there's a dune just off site toward the ocean, dune and coastal bank, and that hence the mitigation calculations.
Okay.
So
Good, all set?
that's it. We'll
Okay.
take questions.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll go to commissioners for questions. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. I will keep it brief. Good evening again, gentlemen. And forgive me, is this it with the plans? I didn't see any additional narrative for this project.
I believe was it.
This is it? Okay. Well, while you're doing that, if it's there, I didn't see it, but in addition to the nitrogen calculations and the fluffed up waiver, as you call it, I think construction methodology would be very beneficial without seeing in particular stormwater and erosion control mechanisms in great detail. This property is one property from the water. So I have some concerns about that. And there are 4 cars in the schematic on this planting plan.
Yes.
So this is a three-bedroom house?
Yes.
Can we confirm
They
any?
have teenage children, so their husband's
Sure.
car, wife's car.
Everybody's got to have a
teenage
car,
children.
of course. Yeah, my kids have a
No
little.
parking allowed on the.
You'll get this, Sarah.
Flintstones. I will not, but thank you. Can we discuss any changes in the interior living space? Is this getting larger? Is it that 361 square feet, or is that just the footprint?
I don't know how much bigger the house is. Do you?
That's the change I mentioned is the footprint.
In the footprint, okay. Is there a change to the interior living space? I know the number of bedrooms is staying the same, but.
I don't.
Yeah, there's no building plans with the package,
Right.
so that'd be one of the things that
Is it
requires
going to
building
stay
plan.
1 story, or is it going to be more?
No, it's 2-story.
It is going to be, okay.
Okay,
It's
But there's
more.
but there'll be no basement.
Yes, correct, okay.
okay.
No longer be a basement.
Okay, I think that's all I've got. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I can't tell from the plan itself, what does the foundation consist of for the new building?
It's a poured concrete with a slab at elevation 8.3.
Poured concrete with a slab, flood vents,
Yeah, flood
Yes.
vents, yeah.
how many?
I don't know whatever's required for that amount of square feet.
Oh, it's 19, that'd be, looks like that probably require, well, this area, the 1,900 square feet includes deck, but it's close to 10 vents.
I guess one of my concerns is under the old Regulation 25, which is what this is filed under, and I don't have the numbers memorized, but there is a reference to no vertical walls within 150 feet of a coastal A zone. This is obviously less than 100 feet from a velocity zone. So I'm curious as to how the commission feels about that regulation and the proposal that these are poured concrete walls. I feel as though we're really looking at pilings rather than walls.
Yeah, that was one of my major concerns, because under the old Reg 25, item 4, under, let me just go back to it, it was performance standards, mentioned when alterations within the A zone of land subject to coastal storm flowage within 150 feet of coastal water body, vertical walls are thus prohibited. So that was one of my concerns. So without having a house plan, and I assumed it was on a foundation, you mentioned a foundation, switching over to pilings would be probably a better thing, because you're so close to the velocity zone. Just because there's a line on the map doesn't mean that wave action stops.
Right.
So you've
Right.
always allowed foundation walls in the past.
Not on all occasions, we haven't.
I have not run into that.
Haven't had one denied for this before.
Yeah, we just,
In an
we
A
just
zone,
litigated
I've
one
never seen
for,
you require
It's
that.
like
It
everything
has
we've
been
written
a-
on Monomoskoye is
Yeah.
been
Yeah, it has been a heavy point of discussion with other projects. There's been multiple on Monomoskoye where this came up as well. So it's just, with each application, it was just discussions with the commission, and each application had different ways of going about it for approval.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to the architects and the homeowners about that, because that's not something, I
Mr.
want to be
Chairman, I
responsible
don't-
for making that decision.
How would the new building code version 10 affect this? Because it does require pilings.
That's in,
Coastal
that's in coastal A and velocity zones.
Right.
I don't think it mentions A zones, but I know the height is higher on it.
Height is higher, we have the 15.1, but you're right, this is not a coastal A zone,
Right.
and the house is not in the velocity zone.
But I think, so you're right, our regulation would kick in, regulation 25, yeah. The old regulation 25, yeah. So, okay. Any other comments, Paul?
Not right now. Oh, wait a second, yes. This retaining wall that, and I understand that it's necessary to deal with the septic component, but why does the retaining wall continue along once you get away from the septic component, working your way towards Bluff Ave? I believe that wall is going right to the street, correct?
Oh, no, it doesn't go to the street.
Doesn't go to the street, it stops at the, basically it stops at the back of the
I
house.
can point it out here if you can, I don't know if you can follow. It comes off of the corner of the house here, wraps around, comes back to the corner of the house here.
Okay,
So it just goes around.
okay, that was my
Yeah.
my mistake, because I was looking at this heavier line, and I thought that was the wall itself. Okay, I'm set for now, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Rich?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm not seeing, but are there any dry wells for stormwater runoff?
Yeah, toward the front of the house.
Right here, there are shallow ones because of the high groundwater. There's one here, and there's one here. It's hard to see over here.
There's some of the plastic infiltrator chambers, not the typical round dry well.
The one near this car, you can see the label for over here. This one does not have a label. Right here under those steps.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
There's I had a label for one, I moved a dry well before, so there's a rogue label right here that points to nothing, but there's no dry well there. Had to move it because of the septic.
Okay.
If you look at our plan, we have it in the legend for it.
You can see it pretty clearly.
Yeah, they're not labeled on the plan, but they're in the legend.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you. Shauna?
So mine is there any concern with the retaining wall in the event of flood, how the flood water is gonna go around or change direction there? And then the second is just to reiterate what we talked about with Wilson Grove, as I am concerned that there's lots going on in the cumulative effect in the resource area in this very small area.
Well, in one respect, if these two, Wilson's Grove and this, are back to back, then if they were to be done at the same time, then at least it wouldn't be, at least for those, between those two properties, they're done at the same time, and so they won't bother each other. But I know that's, more going around other people. And looking at the back of that wall, so in Wilson's Grove, we're not raising up that high, but when we raise the septic system for Wilson's Grove, it can come up and, rest against the back of that wall that they're putting in.
I don't know if that answered my question, but.
No, not the last part. I'm saying that.
I mean, we're kind of seeing this quite a lot, is retaining walls for septic systems create channels for flood water, and, this is now a new retaining wall, because if I remember correctly, and again, it's getting late, and it was this afternoon, there's just all trees and arborvitae there right now. So when you put this retaining wall there, it will change the flow in the event that there's a flood.
But it's absolutely necessary to keep that soil absorption system above the groundwater, so we have to have a retaining wall around it.
There will be more like it as more get done.
And I believe Title V exempts that, because it's necessary for Title V, I believe that what am I trying to say?
Trumps. Trumps
I don't want to use that word for you.
Trump like a
You are correct.
bridge, not a.
You are correct.
But everybody gets wary on that, though. But that, but yeah,
Supersedes
and that
it or something.
also, and this is, it's making me realize too, because the septic system is elevated that much above the groundwater, the foundation wall is also retaining the soil around the SAS system. And if it wasn't there, if it was on pilings, how would that work out, Tom? You'd have to have a slope going toward the street.
So basically saying that you can't place the septic system in the front yard?
We can't because we don't have the necessary setbacks from the house and the street line. We actually looked at that.
So.
But then we'd have to raise the front yard.
Front yard,
And then you
that's the
can't
thing.
park a car. Yeah.
We got this going up to 10-something, then you'd have a, you know,
That's
1
11.5.
foot, 1.5 foot bump above elevation 9 to get up to where the cover over the septic system.
So, yeah.
But I'd say at the very least, if we had the, as Andrew was asking, the retaining wall going around the septic system, then it should at least, that retaining wall should form part of the rear foundation of the house anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm kind of jumping on what Shauna said, because, yeah, I'm concerned about with all the walls, everything channeling, and the two properties, because you worked on both properties, there's no plan to see how the two properties interact with each other. So, which is difficult for us to make a decision, but then I think some of this is self-inflicted because you have an existing house that's, a certain depth, and now you're making a deeper house and saying, okay, well, we can't put anything in the front yard because you don't get clearance from the house and you gotta put it in the backyard. Well, it's self-inflicted because you have a deeper design. If the design was different, you might be able to have more room and space.
Still wouldn't put the septic in the front yard
You can't park a car.
because of the elevation change. Unless you go with-
Right, so, yeah, well, what is that elevation change? Looks like elevation 9 in the front, right? So what height would it be? So,
Well,
1.5 or so, but then there's a,
but
yeah.
a foot and a half coming from the edge of pavement, and you can't, you've got to have, you've got the 5-to-1 thing with the breakout, right? The breakout slope.
Well, it's supposed to be 15 feet away from that elevation.
Yeah.
okay.
But I mean, the way this is now, I think that if you had wave action coming in, it's more likely to, I don't know why you're suggesting we should put it in the front. Waves coming in are gonna be more likely to come down Bluff Avenue, or they're gonna wash away the house that's protecting the house closer to the beach.
Right.
I mean, if it was coming in and blow out that house closer to the beach, then it would get to this back wall. But if it's not that strong, I mean, it's first gonna be coming in along the road, I would think, between the houses along the road. And so it would probably better to not put vertical obstructions there than in the back.
And there is a retaining wall with a mounted system
Yeah.
along this side of the property, right along here. This is all a stone retaining wall holding up this guy's septic system. So the flood will be coming from this direction, so it really buffers that impact from this direction, which is where the flood would come from.
Okay, I'll go back to Shauna. You all set? Or-
I think it's one of those, like, catch-22s is probably a good answer, right?
Yeah, this isn't an easy thing to deal with, honestly.
Unless Papaneset gets sewered, there could be more of these raised septic systems inside retaining walls in flood zones. And that's actually required by your new regulation 25, where you're gonna require 7 feet above groundwater instead of 5 feet.
That's for new systems, not upgrades.
Okay, just new systems.
Exactly.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah. Okay.
There'll be other concerns, I'm sure.
Sandy?
One sec.
Okay. So, okay, some of my other concerns is one is the retaining wall in the back. The height looks like it's 3.5 feet on the rear, but per building code, you're gonna need a railing on top of that wall, for the height.
If there's walking surface within 3 feet of the face of the wall, yes, but we have planting beds.
Okay, all right, so there's planting beds all the way along that wall? I don't have the landscape plan in front of me, so, yeah.
Yeah, there's planting beds all along here.
Okay.
And then this is 1.5 feet wide. A lawn area is not generally considered a walking surface, but I could add a planting bed right there, and that would make that more than 3 feet away. It wouldn't need a railing.
Okay.
And if it needs a railing, we'd put a railing up.
Okay. All right, thanks. Sounds good. Okay, Drew and Dan, any comments from you guys?
You got anything, Drew?
You still there?
He
Go
is. So, comments, not really. It was very much covered by the commission on concerns and whatnot. So, for this project, the retaining wall is, I understand it is needed for the septic per regulations. That I get completely. Feasibility of putting it out front, I get what you're coming from with that, for, you know, having a family and whatnot at the house. But when it comes to other things such as like piles versus foundation, construction protocols, I think those are things that could be looked into. I'm not saying to do them, but I'm definitely saying to look into them. I think that would strengthen this application, even just looking into them, as well as give you a better direction to discuss with the commission. So that's it for me.
Okay. All right, anyone in the audience? Yeah, seeing none? Okay, so you, because we're gonna need to continue this because due to nitrogen calcs, right?
Yeah, nitrogen calculations was definitely the original. And then I have a short punch list, if you'd like that as well.
Yeah, I see do something about the construction protocol.
Yeah, so all I have really, honestly, is nitrogen loading calculations, construction protocols, the planting bed that Andrew talked about as well, as well as just the piles versus foundation conceptual or discussion, I'll say right now, however you want to go about it, but be prepared for a discussion for either way.
You need the architectural plans and erosion control we mentioned also too.
Yes, erosion control,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then strengthen the waiver.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Whatever the waiver, so.
And, you know, just a note on the waiver, gentlemen, and I know there are no other applicants in the room because it's after 10 o'clock, but upgrading to a flood zone compliant structure does not automatically come with a compelling need to double the living size of the house. If there's any way to reduce the scope of the house to meet some of these design requests, to reduce the impact to the resource area, I think that would go a long way.
Okay. All right. So as you mentioned before, you're requesting a continuance to which date?
You got August 21st,
I'm
which is a
gonna
busy
be
night.
visiting family in Poland for
All right.
2 weeks in August, so
September.
September 4th I won't have time to.
My personal feelings are September might be a better option with some of the items you have to line up. So,
If architectural changes are gonna have to be made, then, yeah, then that's gonna take more time. I mean, it's,
so we have September 4th, September 18th, or you can go and be the first for October 9th.
Let's go to the 4th, and if we have to bump it, we'll have to bump it.
yeah, it's no later than October, I mean,
September.
September 4th, yeah.
Okay,
September 4th.
so September 4th. Okay. All right, do you have a motion for continuance for Indiana Bluff Ave to September 4th?
So moved,
Do we
Mr.
have a second?
Second.
Okay. A motion made and seconded. Do roll call votes. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Yeah, and I vote yes. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, can we
Yep.
take a 2-minute recess?
Yep, sure. Yep.
You have more?
I'm risking my life. I have a 160-pound dog that hasn't been fed at home.
Don't drive too fast.
What kind of hound?
Polish Patra sheep.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like a Great Pyrenees, but it's from Poland, not France.
I don't think
Steve,
I've
one
ever
of the
seen
things
one
that
of
came
those.
up in the planning board, there was a recess like this,
Yeah.
and there was discussion to continue during the recess.
Yeah.
And it was brought to the attention of the select board town manager. And boards were advised that if there's going to be a 2-minute recess,
Yeah.
there needs to be a motion for it,
Okay,
vote for it, stand adjourned, and then you reopen it.
okay. I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Just
okay.
thought of it as he walked
So
out.
since we still have a quorum, we can make that motion?
1, 2, 3, 4, well, we announced that we're in recess, so let's honor that.
Okay,
I mean, we're not going to deliberate on a project.
yeah.
But I was watching the planning board that night, and I was shocked.
Really?
Right on talking.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay,
You were there too?
all right.
No, I heard it. I watched it.
You saw that one?
It was a good one, huh?
Okay, all right, next item, notice of intent for 5 Dean Hollow Road, John, Beth Ann, Lewis, and Drolet. Proposed raise of existing dwelling, construct, maintain new single-family dwelling with IA septic system, hardscape, landscape, and mitigation plantings, represent Cape and Islands Engineering. DP number 43, well, don't even have a DP number, so
Nope,
it's,
no DP
so we're
number
missing DP number. And they're requesting to continue to September 4th. Okay, so do we have a motion to continue to September 4th?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made second, roll call vote, Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Before I vote, I, in my notes, have the Dean's Hollow, the other project, on August 21, and wasn't there talk about having them?
August.
No, this should
I
be
have it
for
on the
September
floor.
4th.
My
September 4th.
mistake, okay.
That
sorry.
could have been me. I
That's
don't
okay.
know, but September 4th.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, my mistake. So, yes, I'll vote for that continuance.
Okay, let me look, yeah, I have September 4th on that one, okay. Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes, okay.
Getting late.
Okay, next one. Notice of intent filing, 27 Ocean Bluff Drive, David and Amanda Gladstein, proposed addition of existing deck, addition to existing garage, mitigation plantings, represented as Lionstone Design and Construction, no DP number, and they are asking for a continuance to August 21st.
Yep. So August 21st for them, no DEP number. I did discuss with them tonight in person. So tomorrow I will be sending them an update of commissioner concerns that I've already received, just some staking and things of that nature. So next hearing, they're more in line to be opened up. So, and hopefully we have the DEP number by then.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so we have a motion to continue 27 Ocean Bluff to August 21st.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, well, the motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Next item, we have, going back to pre and post hearing agenda, is approval of draft minutes from 6:12. Voted on myself, Sandy, Marjorie, Rich, and Shauna. So we have 4 of us here out of 5. Okay, any changes, comments on the June 12th?
Yeah, I
That's-
have a couple.
Paper.
Okay, on the approval of minutes for March 6th, the motion was made by Marjorie instead of me, and the motion was to approve the minutes, and so the word "not" should be taken out.
What was that one on again? I'm sorry.
For the March 6th.
March 6th.
That's it for the June
Yep.
12th?
That's it.
Okay, do you have a motion to accept the minutes of June 12th as, with the changes as noted? Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, roll call vote. Rich?
Yes.
Let's see, Shauna?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Next item, the June 26th meeting minutes, able to vote on is myself, Sarah, Sandy, Paul, Alex, Marjorie, Rich, Shauna, and Neil, so all of us, so. Any changes or comments on that?
I didn't get a chance to look at that one, sorry. That's all.
Which was those, the 26th?
26, yeah.
26, yep.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
have any comments on that one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
If not, we can hold off.
We can hold off on those? Okay, you want to hold off on those?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll hold off on that. Okay, moving down quickly, under discussion items, water quality. For our next meeting, do you guys want to put in a discussion on septic system, RDA versus NOI?
Sure.
For water quality,
Under discussion?
under
Don't
discussion?
we have a quarterly meeting coming up,
That is the 28th.
the 28th of this month?
Yes, yes,
Which is-
August 28th.
Why don't we do it on a quarterly meeting when we don't have any hearings? Or is,
This year, it turned out that
We
the
are having-
only opportunity we had was the 28th?
I'm sorry, I haven't got my calendar, so.
Oh, I was gonna say,
No,
the
I
week
got it right
before
here.
that's the 21st, that Thursday. the
That's our
following.
regular meeting.
That's our
Yeah,
regular meeting.
August
So-
21st is our regular meeting,
Yeah,
and then August 28th, I believe, is the
Quarterly.
quarterly, yeah.
how
Yeah,
many,
August
have we got a pretty full agenda for the next regular meeting?
So-
why don't we do the discussion
On the
on the
quarterly.
quarterly meeting when we don't have any hearings? And we
Okay.
have more time.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, sorry.
No, no.
And
Good idea.
just so we know, on the quarterly,
To them, I
I'm not gonna send anything out till after the next hearing for the agendas and stuff, just so you know.
Do we have an agenda started for the quarterly meeting?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, I start filling stuff
So
in
this will be
right
the
now.
first item.
Okay,
But
great.
yeah, yeah. So I
Okay.
will add that to the quarterly. That was the
Septic's RDA versus.
septic RDA NOI. That's right.
NOI.
Yep. Okay.
In a resource area, right? I think we,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, okay, so that's all set. Updates, I think we can hold off on updates till 28th. I don't think there's anything pressing or change.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we'll do that.
I do have a question, Mr. Chair, about the bylaw review subcommittee. I know there had been discussion about an open seat.
Yeah, I think we have to set who wants to be on which subcommittees and things like
Oh,
that.
all the subcommittees?
Yeah, so we should probably put
Maybe at
that
the
on.
quarterly
20
meeting.
Quarterly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, why
Okay.
don't we discuss all that too at
Okay.
the same time?
Great.
'Cause I know Paul mentioned something to me a little while ago, saying that people move and change. Alex
Sure.
is associate member now, so we need.
Okay.
Not yet.
Well, no,
Not
she
yet.
hasn't
Not yet.
She hasn't
resigned.
submitted it.
No, not yet. Okay. I heard that was, I didn't know where that was at, but that was coming.
You have to do
I
that.
sent her an inquiry asking if she was still wishing to pursue associate status. She has to submit a letter to that effect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, thanks for that update, Drew.
it's updating that.
Okay. Then we got communications correspondent. Any additional topics? Seeing none, okay. I think we're done. Just we have signatures. Any signatures we
Just 2
need?
pages.
2 pages?
Yeah, we'll get that done real quick.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second made. Roll call votes. Sarah?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes, too. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
That was a-